That is what I'm talking about. What's going on, everyone? Welcome, Goglings, Gogorifics, Gog peoples of the world. I hope everyone is doing well and as excited as I am for the continuation of Ghosts of Saltmarsh. We are back. By the Dice Roll is here with you on GogCom's Twitch channel. It is episode 451 of Pen and Pixels, and I am greatly honored to have you all back with me today as we are playing By the Dice Roll, Dungeons & Dragons with By the Dice Roll, Ghosts of Saltmarsh. In an episode called Isle of the Abbey. So very excited to talk about that. But before we get there, just a couple of quick reminders. If you haven't done so already, please make sure to follow us here on GogCom's Twitch channel. Please as well, thank you for that watch streak as well. If you have not done so already, please as well consider subscribing to us on GogCom's Twitch channel and also clicking through and checking out our individual subsystems and Patreons and stuff like that. And if you haven't done so already, may I also suggest that you follow us on By the Dice Roll on Twitter, but especially on Blue Sky, where we are focusing a lot of our attention. Check out our website. Make sure that you can check us out on Facebook as well. We have got more social media stuff in the works that we will be able to talk about as we move into the new year. But definitely follow us over on those things because By the Dice Roll is going places, people. So we are excited for all that. It's going to be a good time, and I can't wait for it. I will be here next Tuesday, by the way, with more Pen and Pixels and more Ghosts of Saltmarsh. We're going to have, if all goes well, 2 weeks in a row of this, and then Songs of Conquest as we are as I'm moving into the home stretch of that game. But right now, it is my pleasure to get back to this crew and back to our game. And so I am unmuting myself and apologizing for whoever I might have interrupted because I couldn't hear them. And then I'm going to unmute them. And last but certainly not least, I'm going to bring you over to reveal the amazingness known as By the Dice Roll. That's right. Here they are. They are here. They are ready to go. And I am excited. There is stuff afoot. There are issues around. This is going to be a holiday themed stream involving a lot of undead. So I'm sure that'll be, everyone will be happy with that. I mean, maybe. I'm just kidding. Everything will be fine. I like the suspicious and doubtful looks on the players' faces as I go on. Is just lovely. I will
just
start.
found an AI tool in Zoom and was weighing up the options of having it play the game for me tonight and see what happened. But no, I don't think I will.
Outstanding.
I'm attached to both.
Yeah. That's good. I have a feeling that we need natural intelligence, sir, not the artificial intelligence of otherwise.
Have you met our party?
Yeah, yes, I have. Much more engaging and funny and interesting. Not always orthodox. That's a different matter. But anyway, I'm going to start with all the way to the left in the row, and as always, start with the fearless GOG stream team leader, and that, of course, is the amazing and awesome Pyron J. It's good to see you, Pyron. Happy holidays and so on. How are you, and whom are you playing this evening?
Hello. I don't even know how I became to be known as fearless. I would like to find out one day. It seems That could be an interesting story there.
Mm-hmm.
I am actually quite fine, except for my knee being really itchy, and I'll have to hear about this because I had an accident like 1.5 weeks ago with a really bad fall, and I like scraped off my knee, and now it's like growing back, and it's so itchy, and I cannot itch, which makes all the itchiness so much worse. And it's like the worst itchy day today, and I just wanted to let you all know. So I'm playing Waves Crashing Against Rock today, a Kenku Paladin, a Dex-based Paladin, for those who are a little bit more interested, with the Oath of the Open Sea. And there are a good chance to go to by boat again, which is something that Waves really, really likes. So I'm already looking forward to the session. Why are undead holiday themed?
It's a special kind of holiday.
Because Jesus.
Oh,
I mean,
but
I don't know. I'm just making it up.
Wouldn't that be Easter?
yeah. Well, yes. I mean, I suppose, yes. This is the birth of something, well, it's the birth of something unusual. That's all.
Okay.
Very similar. I don't
Also,
know.
due to all the knee pain, I'm running on very little sleep, and everybody who knows me knows that I get slightly loopy when that happens. I'm already sorry.
Good timing, good timing for all of that to happen. And I'm sorry about your knee. If you'd like, I can try during the adventure to make sure that you concoct some plague of the knee, so you can feel like you're method acting. Like you're invested in your real life knee situation. I'd be happy to do that if you want.
Knee injuries seem to be overdone in RPGs. Let's not go there.
That's fair enough. Yes, in fact, if you look at our logo chat, you'll be able to see that the character running down a hill could very well have been Pyron not too long ago, running about a week and a half ago, if she was chasing after a big die. But anyway, but I'm sorry to hear about that. But I am glad that you were with us, Pyron. I'm looking forward to seeing what Waves gets up to tonight. Also excited to hear what Morthwill gets up tonight with Darksaber. So thank you as always, Saber, for Moobot and Dashboard and all that stuff. I do want to ask you, I was going to ask Pyron this also. My chat has been talking to me about playing Caves of Quad. And so I looked it up a little bit, and I watched a bit of your playthrough of it, and I was like, I feel like I left this behind with Ultima 2 in 1980 something. So I don't know. I was curious about what you think of the game, and then obviously how you're doing and who you're playing tonight.
I have a giant beetle pet that I picked at startup, and she's called Man Opener. And her job is to open up the armors to remove the untidy fleshy bits that tend to build up within them, and then she neatly piles up armor in her pit for her friends to come and collect when they come to give her pets.
Got you.
And then she escaped one day, and she's been looking for a friend, so she's been wandering around with me, who has over the course of the adventure grown wings, triple joints, dual wielding axes. I have a poison stinger.
Wow, this is I'm
only level 10.
Well, I like the idea that you're like,
I'm
and
a
I
really
haven't left the
fast
town. Yeah.
Oh, I've got wings as well. Yeah. Okay.
I'm just a really fast plant.
You're a fast plant.
I'm a very fast plant, and I have digging claws.
And I'm hated by
fun.
baboons, but that's kind of standard in the game.
Yeah, that's not special.
That's not special.
I think it's exciting to me that I don't have the faintest idea what any of you are talking about. So that means I have a lot of excitement in front of me.
It's hard to
when
explain to someone. It's like, just try it.
Okay.
Really, just give it a try.
Fair enough. When not playing Caves of Cood, how are you otherwise, Saber, and who you're playing tonight?
Well, I'm also a bit tired myself. It's been a long day. Overslept, missed an appointment, so may also go a bit loopy, but Martha will see it through. Stoic as a dwarf, because he is. And he also has to man cannons and stuff occasionally, so falling asleep with a lit fuse in your hand can have repercussions. So fingers crossed for the party. I'll probably be fine. Not my first time blowing myself up.
Yeah, and this is going to be may or may not be in need of your explosive services, depending on how things go with once we get to the Abbey. But always a pleasure to have Saber with us. Also a pleasure to have Wholesome Horror Gaming, also known as Peripheral Mike, with us. Mike, good to see you. And yes, I guess you have not, I gather, played Caves of Quid. So instead, I'm just going to have to ask you, got anything cool that you played recently, and who are you playing this evening?
It's something cool I played recently. Yeah, a game called Tormentia, which I've just finished playing. It's an Atari 3600 inspired spooky horror game. And it's really good. It's really, really good. It has just enough secrets in it. It's not too spooky. It has a couple of jump scares in it, but the overall atmosphere is like you're a kid alone in your bedroom playing an Atari game, and some creepy stuff happens and you have to solve puzzles in and out of the game, and sort of stuff goes bump and you have to sort of fix things. And it's a very intriguing experience. And then once you start getting through it, you start collecting these little stickers as achievements, and then you have to sort of fill a sticker book, and it kind of scratches that. Oh, I'd like to collect all of these, please, before the end of the game. And it's got multiple endings, and it's a really well put together game for an indie development studio. It's a really well put together game. It's called Tormentia. I don't know if it's available on GOG. It is available on other services, but I genuinely really recommend it.
Okay.
But other than that, I'd say it's a really good horror game for people who don't like horror games. There's a couple of jumps, none of them are obnoxious, and it gets my sort of wholesome horror seal of approval. Other than that, I'm going to be playing Silvo Janus Bertulus, our half-elven aberrant mind sorcerer, who has just come to terms with the fact that an evil lies within him somewhere, and there is a connection between him and a darker power out in the world. So we're going to see how that affects his ability to use his magic moving forwards.
Yes, we had, it was quite a session last time, Chad. In case you missed it, I encourage you to go check out the playlist, which you can find on my YouTube channel, which has Under Pen and Pixels, which has that. And yeah, it was, there was a lot going on in that last session. Very excited to see what Silvo gets up to today. As you can see, Inanda is not quite back with us yet, but Inanda should be back with us. We have a current tentative next schedule for next week. So the hope is that we're going to have her back for next week, which would be lovely. But when she comes back, she'll be playing Brine the Bloodthirsty, the dual-wielding scimitar using Genasi, water Genasi. So you will want to definitely hang out for that as the bloodthirsty pirate captain joins the rest of the crew. But moving swiftly on, what we do have today, of course, is the awesome Undeveloped Bruce is with us, who is playing an amazing, awesome character that has a very funny video associated with him, and none of you are going to know what that means. But when we were in the green room, see what I did there? We were chatting a little bit about this, and you may be seeing more things relating to funny moments that happen in sessions. That may be coming soon, chat. Just keep that in mind. But it's a great pleasure to see Bruce. Bruce, how are you? How's everything going on your end? Any cool, anything else, games and or writing stuff that you've been doing? I know you've got a lot of the writing groups that you've been doing, but any cool stuff on that front? And who are you playing today?
I've always got cool things going on. I'm currently plotting my next novel out while my current one is out with beta readers. Trying not to think too much about it, and also reading a lot. There's a book somewhere up here, which is my favorite book I've read this month, which was Lonely Castle in the Mirror. It's very cool, highly recommended.
Okay.
And what I'm reading now is the second book in the Geomancer series, which is for 8 to 12-year-olds, which is what I am in my mind. Everything I read is for children. So I'm having lots of fun reading and writing. And today I am playing Green, who is a cleric. I had to double check. I couldn't remember if he was a paladin or a cleric.
Who is
I was like,
a turtle? I was like, yes.
He's a turtle. Yep, he's a bit religious. And his religion is peace and cleanliness, heavily leaning towards the cleanliness side. And he's just along to help try and find inner peace and hope that no one eats him.
Which so far so good, knock on wood. He is not consumed as of yet, so that's good. I'm excited to see what Green gets up to. With no further ado, chat, let us fire up a little bit of our music here and talk about what we did in our last session. Because in our last session, the crew has gathered together with a bit of difficult information that faces them. As we all know, the larger context of this is that they are trying to gather enough sort of support behind them that they can basically convince the people of Saltmarsh Saltmarsh that there is an imminent threat, specifically an imminent threat from the Sahuagin. They have managed, this crew, to be able to ally themselves with the lizard folk and with other positive water races that would be able to join with them, but they can't do that if the town doesn't go along. And right now, there's been a little bit too much disagreement among the townspeople about what should or shouldn't happen. And so the crew was therefore sent off to be able to retrieve something which would be useful for basically gathering stuff together to be able to get the support that they needed. And what they gathered was a box, this magical item supposedly to be found in this box, which they got on the ruins of the Emperor of the Waves. That is also where they met Green, by the way. This was a little bit hairy. They did manage to escape safely. They got the box, but funny thing happened when they got things back, and that is that apparently the box does not belong to Anders Solmore, but may have in fact instead belonged to another person with the first name of starting with an A, and that is the Prince of Pain, Aubrek, one of the Sea Princes, who is notorious for his methods of torture and murder and for the terrible things that he did in and around the town. He may have had the ship first, and so the party now is trying to figure out, well, now what the hell do we do with this box? Currently, as we speak, I believe it is sitting in a graveyard under watch by Brian, if I'm not mistaken, while the rest of the party went south to gather some information from some of the sages of the town. And what they ended up discovering was indeed that there are links that the town may have to these sea princes, and again, this sort of devastating effects that they had before, but also that they might be able to find information that's needed about how to gather the rest of the town folk together, and also maybe to get some information on the plans of the Sahuagin by going to a place known as Abbey Isle, a rather, again, notorious place that originally had a group of people that had gone to settle it. Those people then disappeared, and since then they have not been heard from, but a lot of the undead creatures that the crew has encountered may have been coming from that general vicinity, that and the ship known as the Emperor of the Waves, which is now, thanks to the crew's work, sunk below the waves. Well, thanks to the crew's work and also a massive tentacled creature, which probably is a kraken. But otherwise, give or take, carry the one. They managed to get back. Yeah, I mean, that wasn't your deal, yes. And so now that you've arrived, now that they arrived back in our last session specifically, they did manage to track down some information at the hands of a rather reclusive wizard. And while they were there, they had several visions. In particular, Silvo had a vision about his larger connection to whatever exists. We had a couple of memorable moments with Green cleaning in the shadows, which was sweeping away in the shadows that was possessed by this wizard, and so forth. And as the party left, the party had two things that they wanted to do. The first was basically to stop by a bar. The second was to go to Abbey Isle and to gather what information they needed from that place. And so in that spirit, I'm going to hand things back over to the party. I believe, unless I missed something, those are the two main things that I remember you saying at the end of the last session that you wanted to do: bar and then isle. So bar and then boat, basically. So I'm going to hand things back over to the four of you. What would you all like to do as Brian continues to wait in the graveyard with that 1,000-yard stare looking off into the distance?
Yeah, that sounds fair. Yeah, bar then boat. I think that was what we were doing, wasn't it?
I got damn beers right.
Aye, yeah. Let's go for a drink.
Very.
Okay, so if you were going to go to the place, now remember, the place where you would normally go, which is the snapping line. It is the snapping line. At the moment with Hannah Rist, who is the head of it, but currently that is closed, and it's still not clear as to why it's closed. But at the moment it is. That gives you a couple of other options tavern-wise. One of those is called the Empty Net. But you may remember that the Empty Net was a little unfriendly to Silvo and friends the last time, in particular Silvo.
After last time.
Yeah. So that means that option really isn't available to you, which means Your best other option that sort of remains is probably going to be to go to a place that's sort of not exactly a bar as much as it's an outside. I guess you'd call it like an outside beer garden. And that is, let me show you where exactly. That's part of something which is called the Green Market. And that is, show me. Yes, there it is. So hold on a second as I pull up the thing that I need. Right. Okay. The Green Market, which is right here. That's the Green Market. And the Green Market is so called because it is basically a place that doesn't fit in any other obvious marketplace within the town already. So basically everything that isn't fish or salt or nautical wares is where this market is, and it stretches among a dozen stalls down to the bridge. So there are a few goats and eggs and cloth and marsh plants and pots, and there's an occasional mule or ox for hauling carts and things like that. But there's also a relatively recent creation, which is someone has set up a more or less, it's really not, I think tent is maybe a little ambitious. Let's call it a big awning. And they've put some benches underneath it. And there are people there who, this person is selling alcohol, basically ale and mead. This has caused, by the way, a little bit of consternation. Morthwill and Silva would both know. This has caused a bit of consternation for others in the town because they're not really officially licensed. So it's not clear where they're getting this alcohol from. But frankly, the demand has increased beyond what just the snapping line and the empty net can provide. And so the town officials to this point have sort of looked the other way. Nonetheless, this is a place that has, there's some controversy associated with it, but they do have alcohol for sale. And you are welcome to go there if you wish.
I'd like to try and just gather everyone up quickly before in a private area just before we step out into where everybody is. Just a quick huddle. Like huddle. Just remember,
Huddle.
we don't know nothing about nothing if anyone asks us something. Specifically about the
I don't
box.
know nothing about nothing. But what do I know about other things? Because I know a lot about cleaning.
You can talk about cleaning as much as, in fact, if anybody asks what you've been up to, really emphasize how much cleaning you've been doing. Like, get into the details. Like, people need to know, look how dirty this town is.
That's true. Green will wander off to find a benchy table, whatever it is, and just make sure it is like sparkling clean. There's not a single germ on this thing for when the group comes over.
Okay, because I was going to say it is 100% not sparkling clean at the moment. It has the grime and grit of many. So you have some work to do, Green. And when you sit down, by the way, as you folks are going over to sit down there, the proprietor, in quotes, of this place comes over, of this awning covered place. This person is a relatively recent addition, probably came around the same time, actually maybe even more, maybe with even less time, has been here less time than you, Silvo, to the place. And it is a gnome whose name is Carvin Copperpants. And Carvin Copperpants bustles around this place with goggles and has a leather apron and tunic. Now you all know those like utility kilts. You've heard of those before, right? With like, they're kilts, but they have multiple pockets for different things. Okay, so think of a Scottish kilt, but with multiple pockets. All right, so imagine a leather kilt with what looks like 150 separate pockets on it. And you have a vague sense of what Carvin Copperpants is wearing. And he has this sort of wispy blonde goatee and wispy sideburns, sort of blonde sideburns. And Green, as you go over to the table and begin to clean, he comes over and he says, oh, yes, what can I get you? What can I get you, my sirs? What can I get you? I see. Just a moment, I'll help get that. And he pulls out this, I mean, it looks green, like it has the most grease and like dirt and everything you could imagine on it. And he swipes it over the table as like a once over. And then he's like, right. Clean as a whistle now. Clean as a whistle. So, what can I get for you? What can I get for you all? What can I get for you?
You pain me.
What?
Green would like to cast Prestidigitation to clean the cloth and also the table that was just cleaned by said cloth.
So you do that, and he kind of, oh, thank you. Well, I appreciate that very much. It's I hadn't thought, and he uses the cloth to rub the goggles on the top of his head and brings it down, and you see like grease marks on it again.
More cringes at that bit.
Green's gonna be here a while. This guy's gonna be so clean by the time Green is done.
And he says, well, I appreciate the assistance. Oh, what can I get you, sirs? We have some excellent stuff on tap.
What would you
I would
recommend?
like a vodka martini, please.
What's that?
He says, a vodka martini. Well, I have more in the ale and mead categories, but I have a lot of good things there. And I can offer you, well, we have 3 different ale choices and 3 different mead choices.
You know what? I think a mead after where we've been we need to warm up our bones.
Excellent. What viscosity level?
Yes.
And he
Meat studies did not
nods.
factor in
Yeah.
Rockwell
He does
studies.
the whole like he nods like, I got you, right? And so he goes over and he goes over to this essentially cask. And he opens it up and he grabs a mug and he puts it underneath the cask. And for a moment, Morthwill, you're sort of like, what is he looking at? And then you see bloop, 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 as this dark, extraordinarily viscous liquid just it's like chocolate pudding consistency just drips into the mug. Bloop, 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 so he's there for about 2 minutes waiting as the thing actually fills up.
It just sounds like pure honey. Just that's it.
Yeah. And then he brings it up and he says, there you go, sir. There you go. The finest that we have. I see you're a man of good taste. I would have expected that, though. I've seen you down at the docks. You're Morthwill, yes?
Aye, that's me. I've been here. God, I think you've been around here. Well, no. How long have I been here now?
He like if you're asking me,
No,
I
he
think
was
you've been there for like
expecting
100 years. Yeah,
I don't know, Morthwill. When was this place built?
exactly.
Before I got here, you little shit.
And you're sure it's 140 proof or less. Bold of you to assume that, Stalio. But so he says, yes, well, I'm glad to finally get a chance to meet you. You're always too busy with your ships. You need to come over and once in a while make sure you frequent one of the newer establishments in town. You'll see why when you have this. And he pushes it over to you, and you can see that the top of it is still of the mug liquid is still uneven and is just gradually settling into place as you look at it, leveling out.
Well, I've been meaning to come round and check out the place. And I like to keep up with the comings and goings of town, but you know how it is. Ships don't build themselves.
Oh,
They're
that's
built by
true.
me.
No, that's true. That's true. Oh, my goodness. Well, eventually, I'm hoping to expand. I might want to talk to you about whether you could ever do a commission work, like perhaps do something, a flat-bottomed barge that would allow me to carry casks of this to other places up and down the coast. That sort of thing. Something stable that wouldn't fall. Very important that this not fall. I wouldn't want this to get watered down, as you hear bloop from the mug below you.
Hey,
Yeah, God
I'm almost
forbid it.
he tipped it up like this right now, and he's just
Yeah. You think it's going to arrive by 2030, possibly more than just like slowly. Yeah.
takes out a lockpick. He's like poking at it to see if it'll dislodge.
Yeah. And as you're doing that, he says, "What about the rest of you?" He looks back to you, waves, and he says, "I'm sorry, I don't have that vodka martini or whatever it is you said. But I do have some ale and I do have some mead."
Okay, Wave says,
Cup of tea.
Something boiled seems to be good in this place.
All right. A cup of tea. Well, yes. All right. And he looks around and he says, "Hey, Clanks." Now, Clanks. At first, you don't see anyone respond, and then you hear this hissing of steam, and coming around the side of the table is a 2.5 foot tall, roly-poly automaton with steam hissing out of it. It has 2 hands that are flat holding a tray, and it has on the tray a kettle and what appears to be an empty mug. And I mentioned that it was this big sort of round thing. It has these 2 legs, these 2 small legs that almost look curved. And as the thing moves, and it's like rocking back and forth, left, right, as it moves over towards you. And you can see the kettle and the mug both sliding back and forth on the tray. And when it comes up to you, Carvin says, "All right, Clanks, all right, you know what to do." And Carvin takes one of his hands from underneath. So he's holding the tray with one hand. With his other hand, he comes around and you can see that it is metal. It looks like he's all made of copper. And he puts it on top of the kettle. And then you see, and he actually has these 2, he doesn't have a mouth, but he has these 2 round eyes that blink. And his eyes suddenly widen and the steam hissing, and suddenly you can see the kettle beginning to rattle, and you can see his hand holding the kettle is getting bright red, like red hot. And
I push my chair back while simultaneously trying to climb on the chair, bristling my feather like a scared chicken, hissing at the thing and trying to get away from it.
"Oh, what's wrong? What's wrong? It's making your tea. You said tea, didn't you?"
Oh, you think it's funny, do you?
"What?"
And I still try to get away from it, and he said it. This is not good.
And he turns to you. He says, "I'm sorry. I think this is a Kenku, and I don't have much knowledge of Kenku traditions. Have I offended it? I'm just heating up the tea." And by now you can see the kettle is, it's like already whistling, like boiling. He says, "All right. Well, maybe, look, we'll just solve this problem. All right, Clanks, do your thing." So Clanks brings his red hot hand down to the kettle, which is now literally shaking, and he takes it and pours what apparently is steaming hot water into the mug. Then Carvin says, all right, Clanks, all right, what now? You're looking for tea. Are you looking for a more full-bodied tea?" he says to you as you stand up on the table. "Are you looking for a more full-bodied tea or something more herbal in nature? What kind of tea are you thinking of?"
I don't look like I'm thinking of tea at all, but more like, shall I destroy this thing or not?
So he nods, not hearing an answer. He's like, all right. Well, we'll just go with the standard then. And he nods at Clanks. And Clanks, with his previously red-hot hand, suddenly the hand spins with a hissing of steam. And on the back of his hand, you see there's a little door in his hand. And the door opens up. And then he brings the hand over the open kettle and tips his hand, and little leaves of, clearly tea leaves of some kind, fall into the top of the water of this boiling kettle. And then comes back up, and the door closes, and his hand flips back over. And Carvin says, all right, Clanks, put the mug down, and you can go. I think this one's a little concerned about you. And so Clanks lowers the tray down, brings the thing up, and then pivots on one foot.
Keep your distance. I doubt your motives are as you claim.
and Clank sort of stumbles / rolls away towards the table again.
Did you make that? Did you make that yourself?
And
I
Carvin
point to the robot.
And Carvin nods. He says, "Ah, yes. well, I needed some assistance around here. I was hoping that he might actually serve as some other things, hopefully some comic relief for my patrons or maybe a security robot. But, well, as you can see, he's really not very good for serving stuff. Well, alcohol never gets to the tables, you see. It's all spilled by the time he arrives. So instead, I just decided to make it a tableside service operation. That's a very big one these days. I'm thinking of opening up one down the line. I think I might call it, he drops his voice, don't let my competitors know, hibachi. What do you think about that? Tableside preparation. And he nods
I
and
think
smiles.
he's
I love it.
perfect.
Oh, you like him? Oh, well, I'm hoping that I can, he's the prototype. Eventually, I'm hoping I can make a whole line of them. Well, and he sort of looks at Waves and is like, I know it's not for everyone. Anyway, what do, by this point, by the way.
Dangerous.
Yes.
Think about it, Waves. A clank's in every house.
Morthwill, you've just gotten your
Thanks,
first drop to
Delivery.
come out of the mug. And
It's now stuck
so,
on my finger and won't come off no matter how hard I suck at it.
yeah. Well, no,
I saw it drop and I'm like,
It is very much like if you were trying to drink toffee. You think that the taste is probably really good, but it's kind of more like a alcohol-flavored cough drop in practice than it might be at. But I mean, listen, it does the job. Like it seems to be, taste seems fine. And he says, what would you like? And he looks at you. He says, I've seen you around. He says to you, Silvo. You're that Silvo character I've heard of. What can I provide for you, sir?
I look over at Morthwell, like something far thinner than that. I
No
would like to
problem.
drink my drink today.
you talking about me or the drink?
And he says, no problem at all. Clanks! And Clanks comes out. Except this time, he comes out and he puts his hand on another kettle, which has appeared with another tray. And Carvin looks at him and he says, right, the thinnest we've got, Clanks. And Clanks puts his hand down, begins to shake, and the kettle like gets, more and more steam. And then Carvin says, all right, now you know what to do next. And all of a sudden, you see Clanks. The steam sort of makes this terrible, like tortured sound as if something is reversing inside its metal body. And suddenly you see that his hands, which were red hot, have suddenly grown ice cold. And again, he has his hand on the kettle. And then he takes the kettle after maybe 30 seconds of this, flips it over the mug, and you see what look like basically, it almost looks like a cold steam is emerging into the mug. And he then covers it with this little cover, which is clearly designed for the mug, and rolls it over to you, and then brings it over to you, Silvo. And
Thanks, little guy.
And hands it to you. And when you take it, Carvin says, "Oh wait a minute!" And you have to snatch your hand back because the handle is ice cold. And Carvin gives you a little towel. He says, "All right, there you go." And so, Silvo, if you open up the cover, it basically is like there's steam escaping. So if you inhale or like basically open your mouth, it will condense within your mouth.
I'm vaping alcohol right
Yes,
now.
it's
really
alcohol
Gentrification
vaping.
comes to Saltmarsh. We've got hipster brew bars popping up.
I was like, do you know what? It's not bad.
It's got quite a kick too, because you think it's not being processed through anything. It's going direct to the bloodstream without passing go.
Yeah, surprisingly refreshing. Although I do feel like I'm losing skin on the inside of my body every time I breathe in.
Just a bit. If you're familiar with the Vicks Vapor Rub experience, imagine that, but on steroids. So
Kendall mint cake.
he sort of wanders away. Clanks wanders away then. And last he turns to you, Green. At this point, Green, you have managed to clean out a very super clean section of your table. largely by stripping several years worth of wood, you think, from the top of the table. And
building a new table.
So like, yeah, the table's like this, and it gets to Green's, and it's like, you know, an inch lower, right, or whatever. And
yeah, this is why Green never goes anywhere without his without his planer.
Without the planer.
Planer and a bell sander.
Yeah. And so, and Carvin says, all right, well, now that you've cleaned everything to your satisfaction, what would you like to drink?
Satisfaction is a heavy word, but I would like a cup of water, please.
Ah, well, I can certainly provide that. Clanks! And Clanks turns around and rolls back over to you, and Carvin says, water, please. And this time, Clanks reaches down to his belly and, pulling up a door, opens up his belly, apparently, and inside you can see there are several shelves within it, and one of them has several apparently mugs of what look like some kind of clear liquid. And Clanks pulls forth one of these mugs and rather unsteadily puts it up on the table in front of you, and then closes the door on his belly and turns and heads off. And Carvin, yes, go ahead.
Before he heads off, Green would like to lean down very far, about like 4 feet down.
Right.
and say, Clanks, I was wondering if you want to get lunch sometime.
And
or...
So Clanks sort of sits there, and Carvin sort of gives the other three of you a look and then says, so Clanks is sort of designed to answer direct drink commands. So I don't know that you'll get an answer.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll come back tomorrow. Thank you for the water. And then he's gonna cast Purify Food and Drink on his water.
Yes. And it does actually taste quite delicious, especially once it's been purified. All right, and all of you, it costs a silver piece, by the way, for all of these things, so collectively. So he takes the money from you and then heads off to tend to several other customers, a couple of fishermen and folks like that, which means the four of you are left alone, drinking your various concoctions. Assuming Waves gets off the table by now, I would say.
Yeah, drinking.
I was more like on my chair.
Waiting.
If I can get up to the like leaning part of my chair, I would like sit down there like a
all right, sounds good.
chicken.
I've put me mug down on the bench. It's not moving now.
What, your mug on the bench?
I might have to take this home to use as a bonding agent.
I look over at Waves, and I'll just say, I don't think Clanks is dangerous. Well, not intentionally. I don't think the little guy is dangerous intentionally. I mean, he might explode at some point, but I'm not sure.
Waves I still look very disgruntled. But apparently, but I say,
Leave me alone.
All right, yeah, fair enough. Silver just inhales more of his drink.
Yes.
Yeah. Technology
Green
comes to
has-
Saltmarsh. Only took
Green has
200
never
years
been
to
to
catch up with me. I didn't have the heart to tell him, but they'd mastered that kind of stuff 200 years ago back home. But he was very proud of it, and you
He's
don't
very
take that
excited
away
about
from a
it. Yeah.
craftsman.
I've never seen it before, so I'm very excited by it.
Oh, it's very impressive. The fact it didn't blow up immediately is a market improvement over my prototype.
Excellent.
Green, you were saying?
Green's never really hung out in a pub before. So he's just gonna sit there and like very intently watch what everyone else is doing to figure out what the social norm is.
Okay.
Probably he'll just like every time someone else raises a cup to drink out of, he'll like time it so that he's doing it at the same time as them, so he's not drinking it too fast or too slow. Yeah.
But I like the idea that you've chosen the place to determine social norms at a pub to be Waves, who's afraid of the drink that was put in front of her, Morthwheel, who's got this thing that's going to arrive in about 50 years, and Silvo, who's like inhaling like a steam, like from a steam bath.
Also, I'm pretty sure at least one of the 3 pubs in town we're banned from.
I might ban from 2 of them, to be honest with you. I'm not sure I'm invited to the other one yet.
We've had to find a semi-legal pop-up hipster pub down on the docks.
Yeah, I mean, you take what you can get at this point. I'm just
Which
not
is
sure
about
where.
3 drops so far.
That's 3. That's quite
away
good.
with a knife now at this point.
Yeah, you can do that. Super, very powerful stuff, Morthwheel, once you actually get it. You've just about chewed through the first of it.
Well.
So the Abbey.
I
So
don't
we're going
like
to
that
the
vision
Abbey.
I had.
No. So we need to go to the Abbey to find out. Wait, what were we going to find out? I was a bit preoccupied with all the.
Hold on.
You're connected to a possible dark god, like when we were in that wizard's tower. Why are we going to the Abbey again?
We've not finished the conversation about that now. But
No.
priorities.
I assume that's coming back. I got to explain this all to Brian at some point. I'm not sure how that's going to go.
I guess what we can do is hope Sandballet tries to teleport to his book at one point, and then we get Sandballet in a bag.
Yes, Sandballet in a bag. Yours today for only 6 gold pieces. A Sandballet in a bag.
Got to pay more than that for a bag of badges.
Yeah. So the Abbey.
That thing that attacked us might have a fin in this fight. Flipper, tentacle. I don't know the nomenclature from aquatic wildlife.
Tentacle might have a scale in the game.
He definitely had his tentacle on the scale. we were standing on it at the time.
That's so true.
But yes, Abbey Isle, undead, evil cleric. I really need to learn to take better notes.
I only remember that there are skeletons there.
Yes,
and we need
there
to
is.
bring them peace.
Yes, we do need to bring them
In their
peace. We're gonna
soul
go.
or spirit.
Yeah, we're gonna go spread some aggressive peace all over the place. We're gonna bring the
Presumably,
skeletons.
with the
all
skeletons, there
peace.
might be a few knickknacks.
Well,
They
one can
keep
hope.
making your own equipment all the time. You lot buy it from a shop.
One can hope, right? One can hope that we scavenge a few bits and bobs, scavengers' rights and all that. For in lieu of digging through potential old notes, Game Master, what were we going to Abbey Isle for again?
So you were going to the Abbey Isle because the belief is that that area, which is sort of strategically important to Saltmarsh, might be the place through which the undead were proceeding. Because it's clear to you that the number of undead that you dealt with, it couldn't have come from the Emperor of the Waves. Like there may have been a few of them from there, but like not. So they're coming from somewhere, and the assumption
This could
is
be the source of the undead.
Yeah,
exactly, and may also be connected to the
Pirates of the
Sahugan thing.
Caribbean across the seafloor to get to the mine or something.
Exactly.
Yes.
And the other thing
Which
is that
had the
remember
spawn.
that's right. And remember also that the other thing is that the Sahugan, as you had found out, do not they don't work together. So they're always fighting each other. So whatever has unified them is something that obviously freaks them out even more than they are bothered by each other, which, seems more than just your ordinary, maybe it's a big Sahugan. Like, no, it seems like there's something else going on there.
No, so there's something so there's something driving the Sahugan, and now we figured out there's something potentially behind all of these undead that were in that mine, and they're probably coming from Abbey Isle.
Theoretically.
And we're carrying the
hadn't
horn
we-
they may or may not be tracking in on.
Yeah, jury's still on that one. Sorry.
Hadn't we also heard about some monks, some brotherhood of a colorful sort, crimson,
The
scarlet,
Scarlet
something?
Brotherhood.
Scarlet Brotherhood?
Yep.
Scarlet
I
Brotherhood.
knew it was
so there's
color.
someone pulling a cult. It's always a cult, isn't it? It's always old dudes in robes pulling the strings.
If it's
How
not
many
your
times
own
have you
religion,
done
it's a
this?
cult.
I've been around a bit. Do you know what I mean? I mean, to be fair,
Really?
to be fair, yeah. To be fair, it's normally those that are giving me the orders, in all honesty. But it always seems to be a small group of people just trying to do a bad thing, then it has massive repercussions. So we
how
think
are you
that
with
the
the
Scarlet
Viper sisters
Brotherhood.
these days?
I don't know, to be honest with you. I've cut ties with them. I'm not entirely sure if that's why Hannah's disappeared. I'm slightly worried about her. Although
Morthal's just going to look around at that.
Sorry?
Morthal's just going to just very slowly do like a 360 around the room at that.
Yeah,
Just
it didn't.
Anybody looking sus apart from
Just-
the robot.
Just huffing more of his alcohol. It's like, yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you, they took it very well, but there was a bit of a
I don't
warning
think they're
implied.
that scary.
Yeah, stupid Viper sisters, knife in the back. So I am watching my step, but right now I'm more concerned. Weirdly, and I never thought I'd say this, I'm more concerned with how we're gonna get our head around what's going on at the minute. This all seems to be way bigger than my kind of petty comings and goings with a local criminal organization. So
Yeah, I tried to do a flow chart and gave up after the 6th page of accounting for variables.
yeah, that's fair enough. So we think the Scarlet Brotherhood has something to do with what's going on. There's some sort of link to a dark entity that has latched itself onto me or other people because it sends out envoys, and apparently I'm one of them, which is fantastic. And something else or the same things are either scaring or marshalling the Sahugan and possibly the undead to potentially destroy Saltmarsh and other cities around the coast and world. I'm going to need more of this booze, aren't I?
This gets really good by the 7th drop.
There's not a lot left in this. Wait, can I have another one of these?
And yeah, because you
I'm like
notice
going-
now that there's like, it seems to have all dissipated, whatever's left.
Can I have it slightly thicker? Can I have something I can sip? Thanks. Where are you?
With Clanks comes over and we'll give you something a little bit more in between the used motor oil quality of Morthwill's and the blink and you'll miss it, instant vanishing steam.
So
that
I'm
you
looking.
had.
I'm looking for crab wine consistency. Do you know what I mean?
And so yes, you are provided some of that. I should say that taste wise, including Green's water, all of this is pretty good. Actually, it's not bad. Although again, you do wonder a little bit. You're sort of suspicious about, whether. Again, it's like, obviously it's not branded. It's just whatever, that is that he's giving you. So you don't entirely know where it's coming from. This is obviously not store brand, but it seems to be doing the job.
How far away? Does anybody know how far away Abbey Isle is? Is it by boat, I assume?
You asking me?
No, I'm asking the pie.
Okay.
I can check to see if I can find it on a map.
Should we get a map out and see if we can figure out how far away it is?
Do we want to pull a map out in the middle of public and start pointing at places going, I think it might be here?
4 days due east. Yeah, that's fair enough. Well, I was thinking, Morthwell, at some point, we had a conversation a while ago about some potential modifications to this, and he gets his crossbow out to make it a little bit easier to reload, because it's getting a little bit frustrating. Now, cosmetically, functionally, it's exactly the same, but cosmetically, it just means I'll be able to reload it a little better, which may mean I'll get a little less frustrated with it, which may or may not stop. He makes wild gesticulative motions about, tentacles and magic and all that sort of thing. So if it's a few days, I don't know how long those modifications would take, but if it's a few days of sailing or something, I didn't know if we could get you some tools or stuff or materials to maybe make the modifications necessary.
Get me tools. I've always had the right tool for the job.
I assumed you did. I didn't want to make those assumptions just in case it was a specific job. But I assumed you always had something on hand, maybe in your magic portal bag, which I still don't fully understand, but I'm very eager to.
Look, I'm just going to admit I don't really know. Yeah, it's like baking a cake where you follow the ingredients, and as long as you follow the ingredients right, you get tasty cake, and if you don't, you get slop. But in this case, the slop might destroy reality or your room or either.
Right.
But that didn't happen, which means the recipe was followed correctly.
But that could have happened.
It can happen with the regular ones too, so I'm told.
God, magic is confusing.
This isn't even magic, son. This is just artificing.
Oh my God.
You're the one who could literally pull demons out your ass.
Oh my God. I'm working on that trick, I'll be honest with you.
Please don't.
The map that I brought you to, by the way, is this over here is Saltmarsh. Let me see if I can. Okay. Actually, wait. Let me zoom it out so I can get there. Okay. So this. You should see
Are we
where
gonna
I'm
have the old
pinging.
north is not north problem again?
Yes, unfortunately. This is
Everybody turn your
Saltmarsh
monitor
right
90
here.
degrees.
To this down here, this up here is the haunted house that you folks will remember from very early on. A little further north is where we get to the dwarven mine that you dealt with. You went to the Tower of Xenopus just now, which is here.
Yeah.
And then the lizard folk lair, or the way to get to the lizard folk lair, is here,
miles away, wasn't it?
which is way up here. So Abbey Isle, from what you understand, is roughly here. It's probably about, it's very small, or not super small, but small. And you would guess it would be about maybe 4 to 6 hours by, if you were just rowing, like rowboat type of thing.
So we'd have passed that on our way up to the Lizardman the first time, or that general area.
That general area, but you wouldn't have been
probably,
looking out that way because
We weren't
obviously
specifically
these,
looking.
because each of these hexes is 10 leagues, so
okay.
that's pretty good distance, obviously.
Right, okay. That makes sense.
And we were generally trying not to hit an island at that point.
Precisely. You were, in fact, I believe the direct quote was, "We want to hug the coast." So
Yep.
Yes, well remembered.
And thank you for reminding us of our poor boat we had to abandon to carry the crop back. The first of many boats.
and
that we
poor waves.
temporarily
It was
had.
just like the ship is ours. Like it was like really sad.
now.
about the boat.
R.I.P. Boaty McBoatface the first.
Exactly.
Okay, so we sort of know we have a vague idea of where it is and how sort of far away it is, without pulling maps out, etc. So, is there anything we need to do before we leave, other than definitely having a drink?
I am trained in cartography, so don't worry about no map reading that needs doing.
Oh, thank God! Excellent.
Roughly. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, are you setting out then?
Well,
Is
do
that-
we need to get anything? Do we want any supplies? Do we need any? Because I'm very aware we came back, we checked that where Hannah was, and we went on a. Basically, we've not really stopped since we brought the box back.
I would give you the benefit of a long rest if you want to take some time, because I think you didn't you? I have you as having rested now.
We haven't done all that much since our last long rest. It just feels like a
Right.
long
Okay.
time.
That's what I thought. Okay. Yeah.
I think the long rest was coming back with the box. I'm very aware that we haven't really stopped. Not mechanically. I mean, like physically.
Yeah.
Like,
Fair.
we haven't. We've
It makes
gone
sense not
from...
to set out at night, for example. If it's getting dark, then heading off in a boat right now, not sensible.
That's
But
reasonable.
also, does anybody need to go to a shop? Does anybody need, provisions or potions or anything like that?
Have we even been paid yet? Who can afford these things?
Should we go and get paid?
Maybe a plan. Some kind of advancement since we're preparing to head off. And wait, who knows about the... I'm losing track of who we can tell about what
I
now.
will personally volunteer to go and collect payment. If,
You have spoken well. So Anders did give you some coin as payment for the searching attempt. Yes, and I believe
Did we write that down?
I believe the amount. Let me see.
I definitely haven't touched my golden ages. Yeah, no,
that's
I
the treasure
definitely
I've got is the blue metal box we picked up on the ship, which is like the quest item.
Yeah.
That's the last thing I've marked off that we got.
Yeah, because I don't remember, because there was the conversation was a bit not frantic, but a bit frantic in regards to he might be cursed or poisoned, and suddenly he's not, and we've accidentally solved a quest we never picked up in the first
Yeah,
place.
yeah,
Why
yeah.
did we just
And-
get 100 XP?
Exactly.
Yeah. Why did I gain a level? Who knows?
So he would have given you 300 gold, is what he would have
Between
given
us.
you. Yes, not 300 each.
It
Never
might
would
have
have
been.
given
It could have been a
300
good mission.
They never do that. They never do that.
1,500 gold. No, that's
So 300 divided by 5.
They pay
So
you
we got about
little.
60
They say
gold
divide
each.
it amongst yourselves, and they act like they're doing them a favor.
So
That's
everyone
between
adds 60
5.
gold,
Oh,
and
60 's
I'll
not bad.
make sure Brian knows to add 60 gold
Yeah.
as well. So 60 gold, and I'll stick that on my notes.
Okay.
60 gold to Brian. Lovely. Excellent stuff.
Yeah.
Rich. The ship is ours.
Yeah. It says you. I still got 425 gold to pay off on the bag of tricks.
How much was a hand crossbow?
Oh, a hand crossbow is probably like, I don't know.
Because I lost mine.
I'll look it up. It's not expensive.
Yeah, and I think I'm using Brian's light crossbow at this point.
Yeah,
But I'm
I
not
would like to
mentioning
have my own crossbow again.
On the subject of crossbows, for yours, Mike, so again, there's nothing I can mechanically do to improve it, but I was thinking, like, cosmetically, give you some kind of, like, hand wind, so you're not, like, using your scrawny arms.
Yeah,
Like...
yeah, basically. It was somewhere between that and like a pump action sort of reload system, if that makes sense. But it
Yeah, I couldn't think of a
not be
way-
like immediate reload. Like I don't want to do anything mechanically. It's just
I was thinking some kind of partial repeating crossbow design, but then I'm like, why would you bother with a box with one bolt in it that you have to drop another bolt into every time? It's a bit redundant.
That's fair. Yeah.
25 gold waves is how much a light crossbow is.
Okay, I have 111, so I'm gonna spend 25 of that for a hand crossbow if I can get a new one.
Yep. In fact, they'll
Okay.
give you a 5 gold discount because of your status specifically. Apparently, they put in
Now-
a good word for you. So 20 gold is what it will cost you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Is the crossbow 60 gold? Exactly, Darth Sisu. 60 gold, the exact price of the...
The exact amount of money that you got. Yeah.
I'd like to pay off 50 from the bag of tricks.
You
so
can
I
do
should
that.
have 375
Oh, I
left to
forgot.
pay.
Oh, I forgot about
Yep.
the bag of badges.
You could do that.
I haven't forgotten about it. I've had no money.
Yeah, no, I completely forgot about it.
A bag of badges or other wonderful animals with a variety of effects, apparently.
Yeah.
You kind of want to get that.
Bag of magical effects.
Is-
Brilliant.
are we
There
at
was this
a
box
shop?
that someone called Pandora
Yeah.
owned,
You
which I
can
really would
be.
like to get.
We're not role playing it out, Green, but you can get like sort of basic stuff that you would need if there's something in particular you're looking for.
Yeah, he's sort of looking for any particularly broken weaponry, like maybe discards.
Sure. There's probably a fair bit of that. Is there a particular kind of broken weapon that you're looking for?
Nah, swords, daggers, things like that. All good.
Yeah, there are a couple of broken scimitars, which they will let go for much cheaper. Normally a scimitar is 25 gold, but they would give it to you probably for 10 because there's, the blade is like separated from the hilt and stuff like that.
Excellent. Yeah, he'll take that. Thank you.
Okay.
Oh my
Um,
god, I've just had a look at my inventory. I've got so many random gems from random places.
Of course you do, Thiefy McThief Pants.
Now I know how oh god, I've forgotten his name.
Celsig.
Celsig. Thank you. Now I know how Celsig felt.
Green would like to take his broken scimitar. I think there's a river that flows through into the sea, right?
Yeah, let's jump back over to that. And the name of the river is the Kingfisher River. That's the one.
Okay. I think Green wants to go to that big stone bridge looking thing.
Okay. Be
and
aware,
you,
Green, that are you going over the bridge? Or are you walking over it or just stopping next to it? There's a reason.
if there is something blocking the bridge, then he'll just stop next to it. But his intention was to stop halfway across the bridge.
So the thing is, there is a well known, but you wouldn't know this. There is an ancient curse that was placed on this bridge, which is called Sharkfin Bridge, long before Kaeland even existed as a nation. So, actually, no, that wouldn't affect you. I take that back. That wouldn't affect you. Silvo, in particular, feels it. So, Silvo, I can imagine you being like, "Hey, don't go over that bridge." But otherwise,
be careful on that bridge.
Yeah, you wouldn't be affected by that. I'm sorry.
Definitely.
Elves feel vaguely nauseated when they cross the bridge, but you are not affected by that. So, I beg your pardon.
Good. Green just gives Silver an odd look, like, this is over fresh water. This is my jam. What could possibly happen on a bridge over fresh water? There's literally like a little
fine,
waterfall carved into a shell. And then Green would like to just stop and hold the scimitar, the broken pieces of it, over the water, and just say a quiet prayer in his mind to his goddess Eldath, Mother of the Waters, and offer the broken swords into the water by dropping them in, and just as a sign of his peace, just knowing that in the coming time with the skeletons, he might have to act in ways that are distastefully violent in order to bring peace to the skeletons. So he's just getting some brownie points in advance.
Okay, you can do that. The pieces, as they hit the water, drop, and quickly disappear out of sight below the surface.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Green slowly walks away. The quiet one has been appeased.
Awesome.
Nice.
So Waves has got the light crossbow. Morthwill and Silvo, are you anything else that you are getting in terms of provisions or the like?
I think we've long since bought up the town supply of healing potions now, haven't we?
Yes,
probably.
You would think so.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah, Morthwill would think so. So he's probably no. Yeah, he's just got something to do over a long rest, but that will just happen automatically
without any healing stuff. Yeah, I'm out too.
Okay.
But yeah. Also, I have no spare healing potions for for party reference.
Yes, you might find some in your journey though, but we shall see.
Yeah, well, you go. So.
I'll just drink every random bottle I find. What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah, exactly.
Always worked out in fighting fantasy books. There was never acid, and you got a horrific description of the results of drinking said acid.
No, absolutely not. Definitely didn't scar you for life.
Amen to that. Exactly. Okay. So, all right. Assuming then that you've done what you wanted, you really will have the option as to whether you want to go by the morning or midday, because right now you probably don't want to leave this moment because it's going to head on towards late afternoon. So given it's going to be a few hours, it would be the kind of thing you'd leave like first thing in the morning if you wanted to get there right around midday or so to this and remember, you're going to the lighthouse first. Everyone has advised you to do that because the lighthouse has it's kind of a staging area and there's also a person there who is the lighthouse keeper, who's known as Major Ursa. He's a retired officer and is the lighthouse keeper who has kept an eye on Abbey Isle for some time, supposedly.
Would he probably be the best person to ask about what they think the weather will be like tomorrow?
Possibly, but then the problem is you have to get there first
to
do that. You could actually theoretically, well, it still would take you about 4 to 6 hours to get to, probably about 4 hours to get to the lighthouse, and then 2 hours past that is the Abbey Isle. So,
right, we have to get to the lighthouse first, and then sorry, I thought the lighthouse was here
that as well.
Yeah, sorry, I thought the lighthouse was at Saltmarsh, and then we were going to. No, sorry, no, the lighthouse is. Yeah, fair enough.
Well, we need to get to the lighthouse. I don't think a bit of rain's going to stop this, to be honest.
No. Right, on we go then.
All right. So when the next morning dawns and
montage.
you all set out, can I assume, by the way, that Brian is with you, but sort of staring off into space?
Yes.
Contemplating the cosmos. Okay.
Just
prior
to
to
refresh
this-
my memory, what were we doing with the box while we were gone? I know
that
it was
is a good question.
discussed. It was discussed. I've just forgotten what we. I didn't we sweet talk the graveyard keeper into keeping an eye on it. I think.
Yes, I believe so. It's either being moved to a different location or amongst the remains in the church. I can't remember which.
Oh yeah, didn't you ask him to chuck loads of bones over it or something?
I think so. Yeah, just
yeah.
ceremonially.
It was a little
placed.
disrespectful, but
we worded it well. I mean, it was a good sort of persuasion.
Yeah, it's all the
We
framing.
worded it quite
It's all really about the framing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We would just, decorate the box and its surroundings with the remains of old, sailors and adventurers and stuff. Like not dump a load of bones on it. I mean, that's probably, the amount of bones he needs for that box. That's probably what he's done, but by the shovel load. But that's his choice.
So leaving it under the capable eyes of the guardian you've chosen, you set off that way. Craig is the guy, by the way, who's the town gravedigger. Does that. So your travel out to this place, let me switch back over the maps again, is pretty uneventful, actually. It is a slightly chilly morning, actually, and you can all sort of feel the chill as you are making your way through the waters. But there are no obvious sea creatures that are threaten the boat or anything like that as you make your way out to the island. And it's just about, assuming you left at 8 or 9, it's just about midday when you find yourselves coming in sight of and then pulling up onto this small little island that has got this lighthouse that's on it. And when you pull the boat up to it, you can see a huge barrel-chested man walking down the steps from the lighthouse towards the shore. And as you get closer, you can see that he has this big smile. He has a bright red beard and a circlet of sort of thin red-gray hair on his balding head. And he's wearing a red and yellow kilt with warhammer and dagger hanging from the sides of it, from this belt. And he waves at you as you come in, and he says, well, it's about time someone's come here. I suppose you've got reasons to be heading towards the Isle. You haven't arrived on the shore yet. He's just yelling across the water at you.
Before we land, can you confirm that you won't eat me?
I'm not in the habit of eating sentient creatures that come in boats to visit. Besides, I don't like seafood. No, coarse offense meant. I would never eat something that was, talking to me. I'd feel bad about it, you see. You've got nothing to worry about here. In fact, if you want, I'll feed you. Here, come up, come up.
The Kraken.
Yes. and everything he says, I'll come, you can follow me. And it echoes across the water, right? So
when he gets some great material here.
When the boat pulls up, he comes down and waits. He has his hands on his hips. And again, this big dude who's sort of standing, looking down at you with a big smile. And he says, can you tie the boat up, or did you need some help?
I will attempt to tie the boat up.
Okay. And he watches, and then he says, all right. Well, come to the lighthouse. It's about time, like I said, that someone came to visit. And he sort of nods and turns and waves you towards the lighthouse, which is, rather the whole island, frankly, is pretty rocky and spare, other than the wooden dock that you just pulled up to and the steps leading up to the actual lighthouse. There's not a whole lot on this island, and it's pretty small, mostly just kind of rock and scrub brush, essentially. And yeah, exactly, Trip. 2 surf turtles. So he goes up to the lighthouse, and if you follow him, he will let you in, and then will serve you several several bits of food. There is his comment about seafood seems not entirely accurate, as there is, in fact, some fish and stuff like that, perhaps some clams that he has available for all of you, also some soups. But you notice, Green, that there is nothing even vaguely amphibian or reptilian or anything turtle-based at all. And just some basic soups. And it's very good, by the way, all this stuff. It's very hearty, even though there isn't a whole lot available even in the lighthouse. But apparently he has stuff. And he explains to you that he gets a lot of goods brought in from the mainland because he does valuable work in letting Saltmarsh know if there are any threats. Not that they always pay attention. The reality is that where I am, it's always partly dangerous. And, well, where are you headed exactly?
Well, I think before we get on to that, I assume you're the lighthouse keeper.
I am. Major Ursa's the name. And he bows deeply.
Excellent. Silvo, Green, waves crashing against rocks, Morthwheel. We're from Saltmarsh.
Morthwheel's knocking on the stonework.
Yes, we hear you might have a bit of a problem.
Oh, me? Well, they don't really come and bother me, but if you're talking about the Isle, well, they've had problems there for a long time. The truth is that maybe now, I assume Saltmarsh has sent you. That means that they've finally realized that there is danger afoot. Can't just allow that Isle to do whatever it's doing and expect there won't be consequences. Sometimes the walking dead themselves can be seen on that island.
When he said Major Ursa and introduced himself, can I see if he's lying?
Sure, you can make an insight check. Hi, Kilgore.
Thanks. Totally trustworthy.
Totally reasonable. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, this guy has always been Major Ursa.
Yeah.
His father was Major Ursa.
He was born to be Major Ursa, really. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Written in the stars, you could say.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So have you told Saltmarsh about this undead problem before?
Many times, but I've always heard things like, who cares as long as it stays on the Isle, or perhaps you're getting a bit soft in the head, or never mind, we're too busy worrying about problems here with the lizard folk, or other creatures, or sea prince piracy, or whatever. The truth is, they can say whatever they like, but eventually the walking dead are going to come their way too, and then you'll see some action. I'm actually a little surprised that you've been sent, but maybe that shows they're finally taking the threat seriously.
Well, you know, when you've got an island reputed for undead off your coast, and undead start turning up in your silver mine, now that gets some people noticing.
Oh, so they showed up in the silver mine, have they? Well, I could have told
saw it
them.
with our own eyes.
Oh, eventually it was going to happen. Yes, well, it's true enough. There are some strange goings on over there. Well, you see, the only safe place to get ashore the Isle up there is on that reef-ridged, rocky little island. It's a little there's a sandy beach, though, on the southern tip of it that's known as the Skull Dunes. And the dunes themselves, well, rumor has it, full of undead, because the clerics of the abbey that live there created an army of skeletons to guard the beach. There's some that say that skeletons lie under the sand and attack anyone who comes near, but also that the pirates got ashore somehow. There's probably a path through the undead, but finding it's the problem. I will say that when the rest of them left, well, we didn't catch up with the pirates ourselves, me and the rest of the boys, till after they'd left the island. I served, you see, in the military before I came here to be the lighthouse keeper. And, I was responsible, me and the men that served under me, for wiping out most of the pirates that landed on that island. But truthfully, there wasn't much left of them by the time we got to them. They were a miserable, sorry lot. One shipload escaped, but we sank the others. So we never got a first-hand account of what happened on the island or how the pirates got through the dunes. But they must have gotten there somehow.
Green, while he's talking, surreptitiously casts purify food and drink before eating or drinking anything.
Fair. The food here seems to be much cleaner in variety than what you were having back at the, the beer garden, outside beer garden, but still, yeah.
Silva would take a few bits of food, like Tide him over a little bit.
Okay. It's pretty good.
So there is a safe path across the dunes.
That's what my pirates must have used, but I don't exactly know what the path is. You'd have to find it when you got there. But anything goes wrong, you can just kill the horde of skeletons that rises when you step in the wrong place. And he grins at
I
you.
prefer the term bring peace to the skeletons.
Silver's like, yep, we're going to bring peace to the skeleton.
He nods very slowly.
Best I can do is make
see.
some pieces.
Silver just looks over at Brad and waves.
Well, you're going to have to get through the island one way or the other if you want to get to the Abbey. And I can tell you that, days after the pirates attacked, there was smoke rising from the island. Maybe the Abbey was burned and the clerics are waiting to rebuild. I don't know. But whatever you find when it's there, there's no doubt that there's something strange going on that island.
Can Green make maybe a religion check to see what he knows about, undead armies of skeletons and what may or may not bring them peace?
Sure.
Like, if you found the source of the skeleton army, would they all be brought peace to if you got rid of the source or whatever? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You can. Let's see that religion check. Yeah, I mean, you do know that when the undead through foul ritual are brought back or left in a particular place, you know that when that happens, you're dealing with a powerful kind of evil and a disciplined kind of evil. So again, joking aside from what Silvo said, cults, right? This is the kind of thing that cults tend to do. You do know that of the possible undead you could run into, skeletons are among the less sort of intimidating. But, 100 skeletons is not going to make you feel a lot better that they're less intimidating than a couple of vampires. So if there's a lot of them in these dunes, that's something you'll have to think about.
The last cult I encountered tried to eat me.
Do skeletons normally eat people?
Well, not in
Silver's-
my experience.
Silver was sort of asking that to everyone, really.
Where would all the bits go?
Just fall through, right?
Don't let them eat me, Silvo.
Don't worry, we're not going to let anybody eat you.
Okay.
Absolutely no one is getting eaten by nothing, okay?
If you don't mind my asking, I don't mean to pry, but have you often had people trying to eat you?
Yes. Or recently, yes. Not as a pattern in my life, but you only need to have it happen once, and then...
It's hard to
Shakes his
recover
head.
from, I suppose.
For what it's worth, statistically, people are more likely to try and sink us than eat us so far.
Silver was just doing this with his hands. He's like, he's got it. Yeah, no, that's true.
I will take this into account. And he looks at the
So,
Major
back on the
Ursa
boat.
and says, "Will you sink us?"
And he sort of blinks and he says, I'm out to the sinking business these days. It's my job to keep ships from sinking and to make sure if there's any danger coming to Saltmarsh. It's also my job to convince them that I really am seeing danger and not making it up. But I haven't been very good about that, at least until now.
Green really likes this guy and sort of like almost touches and like casts mending on like a little, maybe a tear on his collar or something, and it's just like, here's my like his little gift to a person he likes is mending their clothes.
Oh, well, thank you. That thing's been ripped that way for a long time. I don't have any real way of making a lot of fixes on the island. I sometimes have to ask for new supplies, but good luck getting them to bring something. I could get it myself, but, well, I don't really spend a lot of time with people these days. I prefer my own thoughts and the observations of the world around me.
Have you observed on that island? Did you say there was some structure past the dunes?
Aye,
or-
the Abbey. The building itself. Those clerics that built that thing. They were an evil lot, 'tis said. But whether or not they're still there, that's anyone's guess. If you ask me, they've mostly died now, or if not all of them, and all that's left is the creatures that they raised to guard the place. But they're probably gone. At least, they don't seem to have made any movements or motions for many, many months, even years.
Have you seen anything else weird recently? Like maybe weird boats coming or going, maybe creatures in the sea that are unexplained?
Not boats or creatures, but definitely there's been more than a little bit of fog. Fog drifting around the ends of the island, fog sort of obscuring my view. I just assumed it was consequence of normal changing weather. You know, climate change, that sort of thing. But I didn't experience anything that seemed unusual beyond the weather I could see on a distance.
This fog sticking around a certain place, maybe? Or is it just...
Well, a lot around the southern tip of the island, actually, which is strange. That's the place where you're going to have to land. It's not so thick that you can't see anything, mind you, but definitely there's something mysterious about it.
All right, good to know. You don't have a map or anything of the isle, do you?
And he says only the very basic of it. And I can, when you actually get there, we can give you the map of the island, or at least the general sort of like map.
Could we maybe say that Waves copies this map whilst we're talking, because Waves can duplicate things?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wouldn't say why not.
Excellent. Waves, are you okay with that?
Okay.
Nice.
Yep.
Yes.
I have everything actually with me that I need to do that, so no
Yes,
problem.
lovely stuff. So we can at least refer to the map, so we're not going in completely blind. Cool.
That seems reasonable. Okay, so if you were going to, all right, so then does that mean you, having had your dinner and so on, can I assume then that you're going to set your path towards the where you are, like towards the isle?
I think that seems to be the plan.
Okay.
I think so, yeah. I just wanted to ask him maybe two more questions. Firstly,
Oh, sure.
Actually, only one more question. When you sent these messages to Saltmarsh to say there's lots of undead, you might want to sort this out, were you sending them to a specific person, or was it just the council?
Well, it was generally the council. I think that young Anders is the one in charge there right now. But truth is, I don't go much in for politics. I don't know who's in charge, but there's definitely competing factions. My job is simply to report to the council, and the council makes the decision from there. But who's actually calling the shots, that I don't know.
So when you were sending these messages, you were just addressing them to the council, not, Anders Solmar or insert name here.
No, I was doing I was making sure it was addressed to the council. Although I will say they would have known that it was coming from me, if that makes any difference.
Just maybe worth, when we get back, just having a bit of a chat as to why maybe this took so long to investigate, just figuring out.
He nods.
Maybe
that would be a good idea for sure.
Yeah. So if anything bigger were to happen and you were to let them know, maybe they'd get a bit of more of a move on. Do you know what I mean? So we weren't in this position. Yeah. So just send.
We'll get back and we'll go. So we were ignoring this other big thing for 5 years. Get on it.
Yeah. Good news, we've saved the Isle. Bad news, we've lost the world.
Yeah. There was this giant void hole that we've been quietly pretending wasn't there.
But the town's now safe for the occupying army of the Sahugin, so I feel like that's,
Yeah, we get back, it's a completely different council. Everyone's wearing red cloaks and doing weird rituals. It's all gone a bit.
And they're all like, give me your report, please, all this stuff.
Yeah, they've all got tentacles coming out the bottom of their faces. They're all 9 foot tall. Oh God. Anyway, I think that's everything. I think that's everything.
Okay.
So we have to go. So now we're at the lighthouse. So we're getting back on the boat and going to the southern part of the abbey.
That's correct. Assuming, because that's
Island.
basically the only real way that you can access it. And it's about 2 hours a little further north of the lighthouse, maybe an hour and a half, is where you actually get to the spot where there's a gap in the rocks that allows you to land on the southern tip of the island.
Cool. And Skull Dunes was the northern part, correct?
No, you're landing on the
southern
Dune.
part. Okay, cool.
Yes.
Good, excellent. Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, the abbey is about the center of the island. So
no, that's fine. The reason I'm asking a few pedantic questions is I'm just making notes for Brian as well.
Yeah, no, that's very helpful. That's
like
totally good.
Like a play-by-play.
Yep.
So if I ask really picky questions, it's that's probably why.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Okay, so if you set back off then on the path, and indeed, assuming about an hour break for lunch that you just had, and then move along, you probably would get there probably 3 o'clock or so, I would say. And as you get close, there's a couple things that you notice, which is, first of all, it's pretty ambitious to call this an island. The island is really little more than a slab of rock, honestly, rising from the ocean, and the sea has battered the crumbling cliffs so much that almost the entire island is surrounded by all of these dangerous, jagged, rocky shoals. And even as you get closer, you can feel the boat kind of bobbing up and down just from the sort of back from, the backsplash, I guess, from the waves sort of cutting back from these rocky shoals. And besides that, even if you could get around there would be these granite cliffs that rise directly out of the water, so you wouldn't be able to get there anyway. So the only place that's safe to quote, safe to land the boat is on the southernmost tip of the island. And as you come up to that area, you can see there's a few gnarled and stunted trees and shrubs and things like that. And you can see that there is a beach of coarse brown sand at the southern end of the island. And I believe I have a map for you. Let me see if I can bring it over without revealing terrible things. Let me see. Ah, yes.
Terrible things.
There we go. So there you are.
It's got a cute little skull on it.
Yes, just for your edification. So there you go, and you can see the dunes for themselves. In fact, as you are landing, you can see that there's a little bit of scraggly grass growing here and there in the sandy hollows. But basically, this, which is right about here, is the place where you could land the boat. I mean, either here or here, I guess, one of these two spots, basically. Okay. And then beyond that, you have the dunes. So if you folks want to move, can you move tokens? Have we talked about this? Are you able to move your tokens on the map?
I think so.
All right, I will manage that. Give me 1 second whilst I bring things
without
over.
Clicking and dragging stuff that I probably shouldn't click and drag in Roll20. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, it's totally fine. I'm going to
accidentally click and drag a handout onto the page or something.
I'm going to bring Brian down here.
We need to play a game of The Floor is Skeletons next. Then.
Sort of, yeah.
The floor is bones. Okay. Right. All right. Let me put you folks on here.
God, this is going to be like the worst game of Minesweeper.
Okay. So I'm just putting, you folks can control yourselves. I'm just giving you like rough stuff, estimates of where you are. Okay.
I've disappeared under green.
Oh no.
Oh, there
well, this happened.
It's all right. Got it.
There we go.
Multiple having had the vision is probably trying to step on the least amount of land right now.
Okay. So you can, now you do know, I'll mention a couple things, which is that each square that you see there is about 500 feet. So each square is about 150 feet on a side, roughly speaking.
Oh, right, okay.
And so you can't go diagonally across. Yeah. Okay. So you can't go diagonally across them. You have to basically go on lines, more or less, that are going between them. So let me see if I can explain what that means. Like, I guess what I would say is like center of the square to center of the square. So in other words, you can't go like.
Sorry, 2 seconds.
You can do like this or something, right? But you wouldn't be able to go like that.
So it can only move orthogonally.
Thank you. Yes, Bruce, precisely. Exactly. Much clearer way of describing what I was trying to say. That's right. So, I mean, it's up to you. You could, of course, just march across the dunes. But if that seems like not a great idea based on what you've heard, then you could also try to find whatever the path is that the pirates used or something else if you wish. And I have a way to do that if you want to find the pirate's path, but that's up to you.
Can anybody smell bones? Just thrown out there. Does anyone know what bones smell like?
I mean,
Green can detect evil and good, but it's only within 30 feet.
And if it's behind complete cover.
Okay.
So if they're really covered by sand, it's a problem.
Well, it can penetrate most barriers, but it's blocked by 1 foot of stone, 1 inch of common metal, a thin sheet of lead, or 3 feet of wood or dirt. I would personally count sand as dirt. So if they're 3 feet below the ground, then no. But I imagine if they're going to want to stick their hand up, they can't be 3 feet below the ground.
Yeah, maybe.
I could potentially not have to touch the ground at all.
Right.
That only helps me, mind.
That's fine for you.
But I
think
thought
that
maybe having someone in the air might help with spotting the path if we can find a starting point. That's not a path, that's a cat.
That's a cat. Yes, that's a ginger pudding. That's what that is.
They get on the ships. You can't help it. Your ship just get adopted by a cat, and that's how the ship's
Pretty
cat.
much.
My cat says hello. That's looking over there.
Excellent. Right. What would we need to do to find the path that looks like it's been trodden before, like the path that the pirates took?
So if you make a perception check, which seems logical, then and you choose one character. Basically, what you would do is you would choose a character to lead the way, and that character would make a perception check, and that's how many squares you could go along, seeing if you can find the pirate's path. And then you may, I mean, there's so many, from what you understand, if it's true. You don't see anything from here, by the way. They all look like normal dunes. But there may be things that you encounter along the way, depending on how good your perception check is or isn't. So yes, that would be the way to be able to determine the path. And I do want to remind everyone in our chat here, by the way, that if you have an inspiration from my channel, you could use that to inspire the players, if you so choose, for them to get across this place. Unless you want to see them fight a lot of skeletons, in which case, just sort of keep quiet and,
How good is everyone here at perception?
1.
+6.
I'm
6. Okay.
slightly
Yes.
proficient.
I'm also +6, so I'm happy for the Kenku to lead the way.
Cool. Silvo stands back in the ocean.
Okay.
Although, like this square, Arv didn't immediately say, a skeleton grabs Silvo's foot.
It's true, I did not.
So,
So we need to all stand on Silvo.
Hey, well, hang on a minute. I could maybe carry, like, waves. Like, waves isn't, like, burly like brine or, built like Morthwheel or have a massive shell like Green. I mean, come on. I'm like 150 pounds soaking wet with a brick in my pocket. Like, come on, man.
I'm not that burly.
Can Green do like
You
a
tried to say
help
I'm fat.
action?
No, if I say you're
To
fat, I'd say you're fat.
What did you...
I respect the
Yeah,
approach.
exactly. You're not. You're a dwarf. You're stout, mate.
Green, what did you say?
Can Green take a help action to help?
I don't
Crashing against
think you're
rocks.
going to be able to help with this because it's a matter of seeing like if you're going to see the path, you would be seeing it on your own. You know what I mean? Like it's not you're not really doubling the effect in this case. Otherwise, I would normally say yeah, but in this case, you're sort of whoever's bringing you across is not going to be aided by you unless you were doing it, in which case you'd be leading. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Although Echo does have an inspiration sitting if need be. Tarsisu says, if you fight a ton of skeletons, you might live longer if you survive. Sounds worth it. I don't know about
we
that
actually
logic entirely.
saw
Darth.
Sisu.
Yeah.
Do we see anything at the top end of the beach? Because at the moment it's just a beach going eternally. So do we have like anything to aim for, or is it just more beach as far as the eye can see?
There is no. There is in fact. Let me just double check and see.
Because there is supposed to be an abbey at least to give us a
Yes.
landmark. Was my thinking.
I will show you a little bit of that actually. So let me bring you over for a moment to this. So this right here, these are the dunes.
Right.
Right. And the abbey, or the ruined building that you assume is the abbey, because it's the only real thing on the island that isn't stone or scrub brush or grass or rocks, is here in about the center of the island.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Stay out.
Okay.
All right. So
Fair enough.
that does not help with budget Minesweeper.
Sadly, no. No, those have been used up for this month, Echo. We used both of them during the Beowulf one, actually.
Operation Minesweeper.
All right. Waves crashing
I-
against rocks. You have. I do not mean this offensively. Bird eyes. What do your bird eyes see?
What do your bird eyes see?
Nice.
Evil around every corner. Careful not to step in any.
Okay.
Yeah.
Waves.
Perfect.
Waves carefully like kneels down, nearly with the beak touching the sand,
Okay.
and then like looks over the ground to see like where is a path that looks like undisturbed, not the kind of path where like somebody step on a skeleton, but like an
Yes, indeed.
undisturbed path.
Can I have you switch up with Silvo then? And I will have you do that perception check then.
I need to move all my things. Okay, let's do
There we go.
this.
Yeah, I don't feel like I'd be able much help floating in the air, to be honest. But we have
It
the
would
option.
just be so fun.
Yeah, unless we could see like where the path was trodden, but if this is sand, it's going to be covered up really easily, isn't it?
Sand gets everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in
You don't like
dunes
it.
there are plants growing usually. That's why they actually. So maybe
So
I can see something with a
Yes.
That's why you're going first.
as you begin to make your way up, I'm going to show you more or less the way that you see as you begin your path. And I should ask, is everyone else coming behind, like single file-ish or whatever, like behind Waves as she goes?
Yeah.
Or okay.
I'm definitely waiting until everyone's come to a stop before I follow them.
Okay. So you take this path, so you go up and then head right 2 squares and up 2 squares. And by doing it that way, you manage to, at least for the moment, you don't notice anything there.
I'll stay in the
Although
middle.
I will say, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I will say that one thing you do notice as you get further is the, and in fact, I can't believe I didn't have the sound effect for this. Sorry. Let's hang on a second. We need some.
I can't move Brian, but I've gone behind her in the move order.
Yeah.
Okay, I will take care of that in just a moment. All right, give me perfect. All
Smallest
right.
legs in sandy conditions. This isn't going to end well if I need to move in a hurry.
All right, let's go with some windswept plains.
Oh, I thought you were going to go with combat music.
Not yet.
Session's still young.
Oh God.
Hold on a second.
Don't like how open and exposed this all feels.
Can you hear that?
It's what's the
Yes,
Ray
I can
Harryhausen
hear-
with the skeletons?
The what? Sorry.
The movie Ray Harryhausen did the skeletons for.
Oh, Clash of the Titans.
That's the That's what I'm envisioning them coming out.
Oh
of the
yeah,
ground
like Jason
that.
the Argonauts. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Why am I not hearing?
I can hear something.
Yeah,
I can
don't
hear
know why-
wind.
I don't know why it's
I
so
can hear
quiet.
some bubbly noises.
Can you?
It's really faint though.
Yeah. Let me try this.
Ooh, that's haunting.
Might depend on your
Ooh.
volume settings in Roll20 as well.
Yeah, but I don't understand why.
That is
Ugh,
quite
that
quiet,
made me
though.
cold.
Let me see.
I
chill
hear
in my
nothing, but I
shoulders,
might
yeah.
have switched
Oh.
it off.
I hear that. Okay, everyone, please do not talk for just a second so I can hear. Okay, I hear it. Yeah, I don't know why it's that quiet, but anyway, I will address that problem later. As long as you folks can hear it, okay. I just don't understand why it's not coming through. It's not too loud for you. Is it overwhelmingly loud, or is it?
No, not for me.
Okay.
I've got my volume on Roll20.
My levels
high,
are
though,
fine.
so.
My end.
Okay. All right.
It's not working for me, but that might have been because of my Stream Deck sound settings.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, but the wind is sweeping through these plains, and you can hear, and sort of sand, hits you in the face, waves as you go, sort of blown up from the wind, and again, you just see sort of scraggly grass here and there. Occasionally, on one of the dunes, you see kind of a piece of cloth fluttering. And you don't know whether it's like stuck into something or whether it's like sticking up from something, but you see a few of those in the dunes. I assume, although correct me if I'm wrong, that you're not going to go like check out the cloth on the dunes, but you tell me.
No. My task is to bring everyone through the dunes, and as long as I don't get another task, this is what I'm going to do.
All right. In that case, I will continue to trace the path as you go. That's not at all what I wanted to do.
Try and look at the cloth through a telescope from my navigator's tools?
Sure. Yes. Go ahead and make a perception check. Okay. I'd say that's probably... We'll keep it even, because it would be minus, but using the telescope may help a little bit.
Okay.
So.
12.
Yeah, it's hard to say. It's definitely fluttering from something. It definitely is stuck on something, but you don't know what. It seems to be maybe like a stick or something that it's stuck on. Unclear exactly what it is.
Mm-hmm.
How far away from us is it?
It is here. So basically right ahead of where... So that's like, 100, 150 feet or so from Waves' position, although... Waves, it looks like the path that you're following is now going this direction.
Yep, as long as nobody is saying anything, I maybe take out my rapier because I'm getting a little bit tense about everything going on.
Can't imagine
I'll
why.
Still like...
If anyone notices Mortwell, he has some kind of 90-degree wood-shaped thing in his hand that you may not have noticed before.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not looking back. I'm just trying to find the path. If something happens behind me, that's all on you. Okay, then another perception check, I guess?
No, you're still working off of this original one, actually.
Oh, wow.
So,
okay.
Okay.
Quick question, Arv, do you want to give me control of Brian's token?
Oh, yes, sorry. Let me do that. And that's determined. I can't. It's determined by the character settings.
Okay. Sorry.
That's all right. I will move. So I'm putting them there. Is that where Brian's going?
Mm-hmm.
Great. Okay. All right. So you can see where it's gone next along that red line there. Waves. Okay. And then here. So. And I will zoom up slightly. So you're making very good progress through these dunes. And let's see. So I would like you to, once you get to, and you have 2 more squares you see that you go along there. Right. When you get there, I would like you to roll for me, please, an 8-sided die.
Oh dear.
An 8-sided die.
That's not the usual dice. What could it mean?
Oh, no.
I rolled a 1.
Okay.
Could be good, could be bad. Who knows? We'll find out.
Okay.
Just one
Tune in next
skeleton.
time. Buy the dice roll.
So, as you are getting to that side, you suddenly feel a slight, like a rumbling in the sandy ground below you. And suddenly there is what you might describe as a kind of almost a lurch in the ground. And suddenly shooting out from the sand from here is a skeletal hand that shoots out from the ground. And then the other hand pulls itself up. And then a bunch of them. Anyone who's seen the sequence in Mulan where the soldiers that have been buried by the snow start pulling themselves out from under the snow, that's basically what you see here as this time comes. And I will move this here. Just 1 second. No, it's not what I want. I think it's here. There we go. Okay. And then emerging from around you.
Oh dear.
They don't look very clean.
So clearly one was not the amount that spawned.
That's a lot of skeletons.
Oh.
5 skeletons emerge. And you can see that they are... In fact, do I have a picture of this?
Morthal just goes, my planet needs me, and just levitates off.
My planet needs me. Okay. Can I... Oh, I do have this picture. Outstanding. Everyone ready for fun?
Oh,
and
sure.
That
Excellent.
is what one of those skeletons looks like. It has literally
How do
arrows.
those pants stay on?
Sort of exactly. I was going to say.
What's up with those pants?
So you see that arrows sort of shooting out of the back. You have a highly effective
Magic
belt.
pants.
They're magic pants that are there. And as it looks down at you, you can see its head sort of tilted and this fell bluish purple light in its eyes glowing balefully.
It's the reflection of the pants.
As it looks at you and lifts its sword. And we are going to roll some initiative, people.
Okay.
Okay, I've got the turn order up and running. So hopefully...
Without breaking it this time.
Oh, I'm going to get me that magic belt, I'm telling you.
All right, let's get some combat music in here.
Okay.
Oh, I should try to see if zombie
13.
chase will work.
That's slightly better than
sure,
average,
why not?
which is incredibly better than my usual average.
I apologize. I still haven't set up my character on Roll20, so do it manually.
Ooh, Silvo.
Ooh, that's nice music.
Oh, that's like Heroes of Might and Magic 2 music.
Yeah.
Not 3, 2 specifically.
Yeah.
Damn. We're all just getting in the groove.
Yeah, we're here to party. I
Okay.
feel like I should have a cocktail.
Dance in the face of doom.
Okay. Did you? Okay. I'm a little. Let me see if I can get the right ones out of the way. Okay. So Silvo, you rolled a 21 this time, right?
Yep.
All right. And Morthwill 13.
Mm-hmm.
You rolled a 13 last time, actually, as well. Green rolled a 5. Oh no.
Well, someone will have to roll for Brian. I don't know if anyone's got her initiative notes.
I
Yeah.
have no notes.
Okay, I'm going to assume that Brian is still staring off over the dunes. Let's see. Waves, did you roll? What did you roll for? Have you rolled initiative? You rolled a 10?
Yes.
Okay. Because for some reason it doubled the turn order. So let's see. So,
What happens if we move off the path?
Silvo just yells, "Don't move off the path!"
you all know from The Hobbit, don't leave the path. All right.
Don't leave the path.
Okay.
Well, the Hobbit was one endless procession of them leaving the path.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and look where it got them. Exactly. Okay.
Out of interest, has there been, while we've been walking through, has there been any other like skeletal bits sticking out of the ground?
Not that you saw. Just a little bit of that cloth that I mentioned previously, which again, it's not clear what that was coming from. But yes, these creatures though did materialize. Okay, we have 13 there.
Yeah, he's trying to tempt us with stuff and things.
Let's see.
Remember that cloth? Remember that cloth you didn't grab? Remember that cape of
That clock you looked at
anti-gravity?
specifically through the telescope and still didn't get enough detail about? Doesn't it drive you mad?
Hey, Green, what did you?
Cloth you could have grabbed?
Oh, sorry, that's not right. No, get rid of that. Green.
I wonder what happens if we push a skeleton off the path and it hits another spot with a skeleton. Is this like a
More
thing where we
skeletons.
can?
More skeletons that then bump
That's
into
why.
more skeletons that then bump into more skeletons.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of. And my
Yeah,
cat
so
unplugging my microphone.
Green,
That's
you've
all right.
got
So
a
we keep spawning skeletons until we crash the game and declare victory.
exactly. Green, you have a 5, right? Is that what I saw, or did I?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Oh God, I need to figure out what Silver's doing. Jesus.
I actually have choices for once.
Skeletonception. Exactly, Prince Justin. Exactly. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Absolutely
God, where's my pen?
fine.
No, I've lost my pen. Oh.
Is there still some space between me and the skeletons, or are they already on me?
There is not much space. There's some, yes. But they will be there within probably less than a turn, you would think, because they're coming at a
So I
pretty good
can
pace.
still use my newly bought hand crossbow.
Yes. For a 1 turn anyway, yes.
That's all I want.
That is correct. Okay, now it'd be nice if I actually rolled and found out when the skeletons are going. Okay. No, I don't want that.
1,
There we go. That's what I want.
2.
Alrighty. And give me this. There we are. Go like that. That's
People, it worked.
fine.
I tried to distract the cat by putting a soft cloth on the windowsill next to me, hoping she would sit on there. And she looks slightly disgruntled, but she sits on it.
Very good job.
So then
Okay.
That's just Cat not wanting to admit that they actually like the new thing.
Yeah.
It's above the radiator, so I really hope like I've got a space where she feels like she's close enough to me without sitting on my mouse arm.
When you've sorted out your
I got it.
roles
Okay.
of
Yes, I think I have. What do you need?
what's happening with Brian.
So I have Brian at the end of the turn order for the moment.
Yeah.
I would say you can probably, if one of you wants to basically Jaeger her and have have her do her attacks, I can do that. I can try to make the character sheet. I assume she'd be okay making it available to one of you to look at. And that's
Has anyone
probably the
played
best
Brian
way to do it.
before?
I just know she's a fighter, so hit thing with sword seems to be a thing.
Yeah. No, I didn't
And
know if
forget
anybody
about
had already seen Brian's character sheet, if she wanted to keep it in
Oh.
secret.
Did she not post in the Discord?
I
Well, that might have been a while
have
ago.
seen it. I've seen it when the character was created 5 levels ago.
Oh,
Not sure if
okay.
that counts.
Do you want to take over control then, Pyron, for her? Because the options basically, because I hate running the PCs myself. That I bad juju.
I can try.
Okay. All right. DMs can run out of skeleton miniatures. Why would that be better, Geister? More skeleton miniatures.
It's like Lord Kuka would point out that they will improvise especially if they think you're being laughed at. Like the DM will go,
Yeah.
"Well, I have this
Counters.
pocket full of pennies."
There you go.
Dice, grains of rice, or something. Do you know what I mean? Like,
And you should
so
have
how many skeletons do you think are in the dunes?
Exactly. How many do you need? Okay. Are you able to see that now, Pyron? I've given you control. You should be able to edit and
See?
control now.
Okay, I can move her. That's fine. Let's see if I can see the character sheet. Should it be in my where I have the player handout, or where should I see the character?
It should be in your journal, like your
Yeah,
journals.
No, I don't see it.
All right, let me see. Maybe there's one of the
Could
things
we
that I
also
need to
just leave Brian to guard the boat?
Yeah, maybe that's easier. Also, I'm always afraid that my boat gets stolen.
Here, try that. Can you see that now?
Yep. Now I can see her. Yes.
Okay.
Got it.
Okay.
Just need to quickly.
All right.
Okay. I'm gonna roll initiative for her.
Okay.
There we go.
I'm here joking. You're way
Oh,
too
it's-
serious.
it's
I was
6.
I was with you on that joke, Geister. Yes.
It's a 6
Okay.
for Brian.
let's see. Oh, in terms of initiative? Okay, good.
Yes.
All right. Okay, so then we're going to start with first out of the gate is Silvo. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you, hon.
Okay. What is Silvo
Okay,
going to do?
no, that's good. Thank you.
That is a great question.
You have 5 skeletons around you, or
So
close to you, and they are within probably about 50 feet, closing quickly.
At about 50 feet.
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool.
Because these squares
I
are
thought they
much
were,
bigger,
like-
remember?
Yeah, no, I thought this one was like right in front of me. I was
No,
worried there.
50 feet, closing on you fast, though.
Closing at what speed? Is this like they're trudging through the sand? Is this soft sand or hard sand?
This is probably it's soft
dune
sand.
sand, so
It's
it's
dune
like-
sand, but they move a little faster than you might hope. Perhaps their sand dune skeleton lineage is allowing them to move a little bit more quickly.
Okay, cool. Silvo is going to drop to one knee to try and not get blown around by the wind, and aim with his crossbow and fire at this skeleton.
Okay. Will absolutely hit. And I'm sorry, you said the one
22.
that was right in front of you?
Yeah, right in front of me.
Yep. Okay.
Wha-bam. 10 piercing points of damage.
10 piercing points of damage. All right. Stunk.
I see
Okay.
that custom crank's working out for you.
Yeah, he's just like...
Good stuff.
Nice.
And aren't we all glad that we're not playing an older edition where a piercing would have done much less damage? Okay, that is not the case here.
Yes, I suppose.
I'd assumed that had been the case this whole time, that it was doing less because of the skeletons whenever we were doing them.
Yeah, they are, however, I will tell you for free, immune to poison. You probably would have been able to guess that anyway, insofar as, but...
and the
right.
cold. And
Yes, exactly.
most flesh-eating bacteria.
So you hit it and it kind of like staggers back. You see, flecks of bone, part of its rib cage. Maybe that's a part of a tibia go flying off in one direction.
Cool.
Are you going to stay where
I'm
you
happy
are?
with that. Yes, unless I can swap places with Brine. Because I'm very aware I'm in front of the fighter.
Well, yeah, you could swap places with Brian, yes.
So thematically, I think what is probably going to happen here is Silvo's going to sort of get on one knee, very dramatic. He's sort of empowered by the fact he now sort of has figured out a bit about himself. And he's like, twang, and he hits it dead center. And then Brian's like, no, you get behind me.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And he's like, yeah, okay, fair enough.
All right, you having moved out of the way, the next up to go, unfortunately, is the skeletons. And the effect that has basically is the one that you hit basically comes up closer. They will be in melee range basically next turn with Brine. The other 4 all close on the immediate creature in front of them, which is a certain Kenku Paladin. So 4 of them are closing on you, Waves, but all 4 of them are going to get to you next turn, not this turn. So you have one more turn to do what you want to do before they will literally be able to reach melee combat with you next round. That is going to bring us to Morthwheel, who is up next.
Right, yeah, the scale's messing with my head.
Yep, 150 feet. So you're going
to do something.
Yeah, so you're basically going to have to be like, like run up and like exchange places with Silvo and, more or less, even though this doesn't quite work in terms of the mechanics of the distance, I'll say that you could exchange places with Silvo this turn if you want. That's technically hundreds of feet, but I mean, it's close enough. So
I mean, in my head, it's like, yes, these squares are big, but we wouldn't be 150 feet apart.
Precisely.
Really.
Yes, of course. I agree. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so can I at least close within 120 feet of the nearest skeleton, if not the full 60? If I swap places with Silvo, because he was just in crossbow. Oh, no, he swapped places after crossbow.
He swapped places with Brian. I think you'd be slightly out of range in Morthwheel. Next turn, they'll definitely be in range, but I think you'd be slightly out.
I'll still swap places with Silvo in that case, because I think I need to be closer than him to be effective. Because if 120 is not doing it, I can't do anything really this far back. So I'll swap with Silvo if you want to just... Yeah.
As you step onto the dunes, 700 more skeletons. Damn it! No, just kidding.
You look down. There's this line in the ground, and I've got one toe over it.
You hear a ding, like, oh man. Okay, and a sandworm, exactly.
Quick check if I can. Anything I can. No. Nope. All right, that'll do for now then. That's my turn.
All right, Waves, this brings us to you. You could close on them if you wish, and then be right up in their grill because they'll be closing on you. But then you'll also be like, hey, I got 4 skeletons around me. So I don't know if that's what you want or not.
First, I'm going to use a bonus action and cast Shield of Faith on Brine.
Okay.
Assuming that she is within 60 feet of me.
Ish. I'll allow it because I agree that you're probably not, yourselves are probably within similar squares. So.
Okay, so by this I give Brine +2 on her AC.
Okay.
And I still have enough distance to the skeletons to use my crossbow at least.
That is right. Next turn you won't, but
Wonderful.
yes, this turn.
This is something I would like to do. I would like to shoot the skeleton that is already hurt with my hand crossbow.
Sounds good. You raise up.
Click.
Tilted execution style. No, I'm just kidding.
Submit.
23 will definitely hit.
Yeah, I need. And now the damage. Boop. 8.
8, and you smash it in the skull, and it blows up into little bits.
Nice.
A moaning echoes across the dunes as you do this. As the bone fragments hit the ground, you hear floating across the dunes.
Headshot.
And now using the extra attack I got on 5th level, I'm gonna shoot another skeleton with my hand crossbow.
Seems logical.
The one like in front of me and to the right.
This one here?
Yeah, that one.
Okay.
Exactly that one. Boop. 16.
16 will hit, yep.
And boop. 7.
7 piercing. All right, you smash into it, although it is not destroyed yet, but some satisfying fragments of bone go flying off.
And if I still can, I would just like to drop my hand crossbow and hope I find it again this time. Please, please, please,
It disappears into the sand. Damn it.
And get ready for close combat.
Sounds good.
The next turn.
That's going to bring us up to Brine. What would Brine like to do?
I don't think Brine would step off the path.
And Green is on deck right after Brine, so keep that in mind since Green's ahead of Brine.
Yeah. Brine still has a light crossbow listed. Can this be?
Yeah, that's quite possible. Yeah.
Okay, in that case, Brine will shoot the skeleton next to Green and Waves.
That's pretty.
No.
Well, I'm thinking about the. Well, no, that's fine because it's not a matter of actually getting room. I think that's fine. Let's see.
13?
13 will just hit. Yes.
Okay.
No.
Oh, it already said 6 piercing. Sorry, it said it did it in once.
Oh, so 6 piercing.
You can
Okay.
you can ignore the 9. That was my mistake here.
All right. So
But
again, shots fired and hit appropriately. I assume is Brine staying where she is, or?
Yeah, not stepping off the path and don't want to push past Green, but also extra attack because of fighter. So let's do this again. 10.
That's a miss, unfortunately.
Okay. Well, but still something. Yeah. I mean, if Brine can share a space with Green, she would most likely move there. But if not, she'll
Brine could
stay
probably share
where
a spot
she-
with Green because the squares are so big. It's just it'll
Okay.
sort of disappear between them at the moment because it's gridded. But we'll remember that Green's there. Speaking of Green, it's Green's turn. Green, what would you like to do?
How far away is the nearest skeleton from me?
Probably the nearest skeleton from you is 100-ish feet or so. It's the one that was just hit by Brine's crossbow bolt.
All right. Green would like to cast Bless on himself, Brine, and Waves.
Okay. Sounds like a plan. You can definitely do that.
Yeah.
All right.
So whenever a target makes an attack roll or a saving throw, the target can roll a d4 and add the number rolled to the attack roll or saving throw.
Good
Thank
stuff.
you.
Concentration up to 1 minute.
All right, good stuff, Green. And was that an action or a bonus action? That's an action, right? For Bless?
It's an action.
Okay,
yeah.
so are you moving anywhere?
No, he's going to stay with Brian so we can
be together. Sounds good. Okay. Silvo, that brings us up to the top of the round. There are 4 skeletons that remain that are visible anyway. And you are towards the back of that group.
Far away.
Yes. I mean, relatively speaking, you are still within shouting distance. It's not like you actually went 500 feet back. So,
no, that's true.
You know, it's just a matter of what you can see on the map.
Within 320 feet of either this skeleton or this skeleton.
That skeleton that you mentioned, the last one on the left, yes.
This one?
Yep.
Yes. Now, if I were to move forwards, I could still attack, correct?
Yes, depending on how far you go. If you go, like, say, 30 feet forward, you could then attack from there.
Yeah, if I could just attack from here, that'd be fine. Do I get any penalties because I'm this far away?
No, although I'm tempted to say because you're shooting through the dunes, but I will say not. Again, I think that, the point is each of those squares is 500 feet, but that doesn't mean that you're 500 feet in size.
Yeah.
So, like, you're probably on the edge of the squares, and you're, if you could see each of you in the squares, that would be visible. So, yes, I think you can get that shot off. Although 320 is probably, if you're doing, are you doing a spell or are you doing crossbow? Because if it's crossbow, that's long range, which probably means, let me see, yeah, so long range on 5e. It's been a while since I've actually had to adjudicate this, actually.
Because short range is 80, if I'm right, and long range is 320.
Right.
If memory serves.
So your attack roll is disadvantage when your target is beyond normal range. So you would have disadvantage on this attack because of the distance.
Okay. So roll it twice, take the lower number.
Right.
Cool. 11.
11, unfortunately, is a miss.
Yeah, that's fine. If because I'm gonna guess, even if I were to move, even if I were to book it forwards to here, I still wouldn't be within good shooting distance.
Probably if you booked it up to there, you would be, but that also would be your turn. Because even if I assume that you're not right in the square behind, still
it would take me from the start of Morthwheel Square to the end of Morthwheel Square is still 150 feet. Isn't it?
I mean, like I would. So you could dash and get basically ahead of him again. If you want, but it just means you wouldn't be able to attack same turn.
No, that's fine. Could I possibly move into Morthwheel Square?
Yes, for sure.
So
you can just do that if you want. Yep.
Cool.
You can do that.
Thank you. That's me.
All right, and now it is the skeleton's turn. So, as promised, they now have closed up on Waves, and with their scimitars, they attack fiercely. Let's see, Waves. First one is a horrific miss. I assume 8 is not going to get the job done.
Not really.
All right, second one is a not natural 20.
Yeah, I've got 19.
And then a 14, and then a 23. So 2 hits, it sounds like, there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see. All right, you are going to take a total of 12 piercing damage combined from those 2 attacks.
Okay.
All right, and that brings us on to Morthwheel. So there are 4 skeletons surrounding your Kenku Paladin there, Morthwheel.
They are, and I'm small and far away.
You just yell stop at them. Stop.
That's never worked. Why did it start now?
Don't you have some artificer cannon that has like 1,000 feet natural range or something?
Unfortunately, they thought of that. I guess there's nothing really within 120 feet of me here either, unless I can get that one. No.
Yeah, sorry I brought range into this.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was definitely a thing I was considering also.
Yeah.
It works
Got
for
range.
your behalf also. They have to close in melee range, so you had a turn not to do that. Yeah, unfortunately. Now, you could also shift up to the same square. You don't even really have to exchange places, honestly. You could just be underneath one of them because there's plenty of room in those squares. So you could move into green square. You'd have to double move, I think, to get close enough to hit them, ranged-wise next turn. But you could do that if you want.
I have to at least be in green square, then I guess range-wise for that, so I will do so, and that'll be my move.
That sounds good. Okay, Waves, you are up next. You have 4 skeletons surrounding you. 2 of them are hurt. This one up here and this one here are the 2 hurt ones.
Okay, let's go into melee with my trusty rapier, the one that is in front of me and slightly to the right.
Mm-hmm.
I've got too many windows open.
Summon stop.
Mistake on my side. 16.
For sure, that hits. Which one was it? Was it this one?
No, the other one.
The other one. Okay. Yep.
That hits. This one. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. That hits.
And where's the damage? There is the damage because I'm using my 15 piercing.
Yeah, you stab it, lift it up on your blade, throw it down, breaks in half. Yeah, you obliterate it.
Okay, then I use my extra attack that I just recently got and I'm very happy about.
Yes.
To do hopefully the same to the other herd skeleton.
All right, let's see if that works.
If we can. 18.
What is rapier dual? Is that just your secondary use?
That is if I only use one melee weapon and not another weapon. So, okay, when you're wielding a melee weapon in one hand and no other weapons, you gain a +2 to damage rolls with that weapon.
Right,
and
okay.
I'm only using one rapier.
That's right. Okay. Power word. Yep.
It's a paladin thing.
Gotcha.
So that's what
because
paladining.
Because paladin, power word clean. Yeah, so you just smash, lift up, turn around, smash, lift up, turn around.
Much, yeah.
So you obliterate that one also. And now there are only 2. See, I told you'll all be fine. No problem. What could go wrong?
No. There's nothing wrong with this situation at all.
No, so fine.
Waves, I assume you're staying in melee range of the other 2?
Yeah, I do that.
Then it is Brian's turn, and Brian is right near you. Is underneath you, I believe. So
can Brian move in? Can Brian move in melee range with me?
I see. Yes, I would say because they're right on top of you. So I think Brian can move up to your square. Yeah, exactly.
Like this.
And then can attack, yes.
And
these
then
are both fresh skeletons.
Brian uses her scimitar. Okay, they both look the same. She has got 2 listed. I'm just going to click on one.
Slash.
11.
11 is not enough, I'm afraid.
Then I'm going to use the extra attack for another scimitar.
11 is still
11.
not enough. Slash, miss, I'm afraid.
Okay. Well, she was like sprinting over the sand.
Yeah, and I mean,
and so and then like sliding and miss.
And got hit in the face by all the bone fragments from the skeletons you just destroyed, right? It's just, like it's hard to see these things. Okay, so Brian is there engaged with him. Green, you are up, and Silva was on deck at the top of next round. What would you like to do, Green?
Oh, should I have rolled whether I used the concentration on the shield spell?
Oh yes, thank you for being honest and reminding me. I would have picked that up next round actually when I would have seen it, but
yeah, just how do I do?
Just a Constitution save. Let's see if you make a con save, and if so, you hold on to the spell. Inspiration needed. Well, I don't know if you want to use. I mean, it's up to the party. I'm not sure if they need an inspiration on this, but
I think
sorry. Also, Brian was blessed. I could have put +4 on the attack rolls of blind.
Or it's a plus a D4.
I'm so sorry. I'm just getting
that's
into
fine.
this.
So just do the D4 on those. Yeah.
Okay. First, there's going to be the Constitution save. Constitution save.
Yeah.
Natural 20.
You barely even notice it. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I'm just so used to getting hurt by now. And then
pain is an old friend.
1d4 for Brian, which would have brought it up to 13 on her first strike.
That's enough, yeah.
So that is, well, we still can see it, so it's 8 for the first strike.
All right.
And 12 would
not
still
enough.
not hit, I think.
Not enough.
So 8 damage to the skeleton just in front.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, good call on remembering that bless.
Sorry,
that's
too
okay.
much magic.
No problem. Okay, so that was Brian. That was Green. So Green, you were up.
Green would also like to run up alongside Brian.
Okay.
If that's okay.
Yes, because it was right near. Yep. Okay.
And I would. So we're all around waves crashing on rocks now, yeah?
That's right. Except for Silvo and Morthwill a little bit behind, but yeah.
Green would just like to cast Cure Wounds as a first level on waves.
All right. Sounds good. See how much we heal from the power of Cure Wounds.
Silver's just like, don't leave me.
You hear the creaking of bones around
yelling
you.
back, I'll come back for you.
No, you won't.
11.
What?
I've got the feature Discipline of Life whenever I use a spell of first level or higher to restore HP. The creature regains additional HP equal to 2 plus the spell's level, which is why there's a +6.
Okay, so
on top of my.
So 11, so total of 50.
No, the 11 includes that.
Right. I'm saying, but you got but there's 11 points that you've restored. So all right, so waves, you're sitting now at 54 to 55, I think. All right, Hale and Hardy, everything's fine. See, Green, are you moving? Well, you actually moved up and did the cure wounds. So, all right, good stuff. All right, well, that brings us to Silvo. Silvo, only 2 skeletons remain.
Excellent stuff. This is the one that's been attacked, isn't it?
It's the one I think on the left, actually.
Is it the one on the left?
Yeah, I mean, I say it either way, but yes.
Stuff. So, if I were moving normally, do you reckon I'd be able to get into this space?
Yes, I think so.
And then I am within 320 feet, but I'm still going to have to take a crossbow shot at disadvantage because I'm not within 80 feet of it, I assume.
That's right.
Square,
the
diagonal square that
exactly
everyone's populating is 150. So
exactly.
Let's have a shot at the one that is injured. Then, if I can,
you can do that. Yes.
Lovely.
Given the space that we're talking about.
14.
This was long range, did we say? Or
no? Yes. Sorry.
So disadvantage.
14.
14 will hit though.
Nice. 6 points of piercing damage.
Yes, and you shoot it through the eye socket, and the skull bursts, and it is destroyed.
There's a very characteristic and then he's like.
Both Brian and Waves both Brian and Waves look over their shoulder to Silver because they just had this arrow flying by and explode the skull of the skeleton.
Mm-hmm. You see a tiny half elf in the distance, like.
All right. So good stuff. And you're staying where you are there, Silvo, I assume?
Yeah, I've already moved, so.
Okay. All right. That is going to bring the remaining skeleton is going to attack Waves again. And let's see. We're looking at that is a 21.
That hits, yes.
All right, not bad, skeleton. I've seen worse. 6 points of slashing damage.
Okay.
All right, 6 points. That's 48. Okay. All right, and that's the only remaining skeleton. So Morthwill, you were up.
Close the distance. Can I get within shooting distance? Oh,
yes, you can go within shooting distance. I love the idea that you get there as the last skeleton. Very dangerous over short distance.
Well, let's hold on for that. So there's going to be a plus. So that would be a 13 with my arcane focus.
So not 12.
It gets an extra +1, but because Roll20 doesn't do Artificer very well, it's a bit clunky.
13 will hit. Yep.
13 will hit. Then I do that plus, because again, I'm a magical firearm, I can add an extra D8 to one spellcaster at a turn. Yeah, an extra D8 damage.
Okay.
Nice.
19 points of damage.
Wow, this firebolt just absolutely obliterates it. And the dunes once again are silent. other than the wind, the sweeping of wind. And as suddenly as they came, so it is gone again. And you were all now standing there pretty much on the square. Silently. There's a lot of you'll have to make another perception check, Waves, to pick up the trail, because there's a lot of disruption where you were all just fighting, but otherwise just fragments of bone remain.
I
Maybe
stare at
we
the
should walk
ground.
a bit closer.
I stare at the ground and try to figure out where I went wrong. Did I step on a root or on something that actually triggered skeletons this far away? So I'm not continuing to walk, but I just would like to investigate the ground around me or something.
Make an investigation check for me, please.
I actually don't want to make an investigation check, but I will now do.
Make an investigation. Okay, just kidding.
Okay.
It wasn't a suggestion.
Could I assist
11?
with investigation?
Maybe.
That's an eye for detail.
Yes, maybe. I would say in this particular case you can, because you're not just trying to find the one single path, so you probably could assist.
I mean, I'm very openly staring at the ground, maybe carefully poking it with my rapier, and just motion to the others to not move ahead yet. So it's very obvious what I'm doing.
So you get that means that you would get that advantage, Wave, so you can roll that investigation check again because of the help action.
Let's have Mothball do his own investigation. He's a dwarf.
Well, that's up to you. If he's doing that, then he's not helping you. So that means that he's doing his own separate.
That's fine. I
You
would
can
like
do
him
that.
to come to his own conclusion.
All right. Investigation. 17.
It appears that the path that you were following, which has been pretty steady so far, but it seems that over the years, the path is somewhat isolated, and over the, not years, I should say months since the pirates arrived, some of it seems to have been blown over. So it's possible that you stepped on something which was connected to something else. There's a lot of, and you kind of see now that the sand has been disrupted, that there are indeed a lot of what looks like bits of clothing and rags and blades and broken blades and stuff like that all over the place, sort of in the sand, but most of it is below the surface unless it's, disturbed by skeletons coming up from underneath. So you think what you might have done, Waves, is you might have stepped on the sort of outside of a broken blade, which was connected to a bunch of other things that disturbed the skeletons. The path is pretty narrow that the pirates apparently took.
Okay. So with that in mind, up till this point, we haven't disturbed any weapons, cloth, any debris.
Correct. Other
Any
than the one that
human
you
or
saw from a
person
distance.
debris.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so
Now you see
I
a little
think-
bit of it because of the fire.
I think we need to be very careful we don't disturb the remains. You see this here, and I point at just a tiny edge of a blade that's sticking out from under the stand next to boot print. I'm not sure if Waves wears shoes, to be honest. Never asked.
No. No, I'm currently not wearing shoes.
Probably like a bird foot thing, and it just slightly kicked a sword under the sand. So, all right, be very careful where we step foot.
I agree.
So on that, Silver was going to try and very carefully find his way to this square, because that's a big old trek.
You can do
And
that.
then very carefully trying his way to this square.
Yep.
And now we're all in the same square.
I look
There's a crossbow
back
sniper.
Yeah.
I know,
I
it
look
was a good
back at-
shot, wasn't it?
It was impressive.
Yeah. I point at the crossbow, point at Silver, and say,
Impressive.
Thank you. I very much enjoyed that. It was very satisfactory shot. That crank has worked a right treat.
Right tools for the job, my friend. That's
Oh,
what you
aye.
need
Oh,
every
aye.
time.
okay,
Right, now what?
then, okay, I'll try to, oh, that's Brian, that's why it looks different. I'm trying to percept my way
All right.
again.
Okay.
17 this time.
17. So 2 very good rolls. So up here and then this way.
Where am I?
Are we all single file in the same square at this point?
Yeah,
I'm guessing you
I
are.
would definitely say yes.
Like hands on the person in front of
I
you.
think we
like,
just had a
Very
I think that
much.
fight was the wait we can do that moment.
yeah. Because the
Where
squares
is
are so
my-
big.
Yeah, so I guess.
Ah,
it
there
would be
I
just-
am. Okay, wonderful. Found myself.
And this.
Okay. And this. That's. I cannot decide which one to move first if they're all in the same. So that's.
And you'll be happy to know that as you come out on the other side of it, you find yourself to the north of those dunes. Having
God.
unearthed not a whole lot of skeletons, actually. Let me see. I'm going to this. Oh, whoops! That's not what I meant to do.
Why is it an achievement? Kill 5,000 skeletons on the beach.
Yeah, why is that? Yeah.
Maybe we need them later, so it's good that there's still some left.
That's right. Okay, give me a second here.
He said that's right. He doesn't even know what I'm thinking
no.
of.
Let's see.
I have this horrible sinking feeling that almost every other square had like increasing numbers. You know, like Minesweeper. It's like if you go
I feel like
here-
there was something. The more mistakes you make, the worse it was going to get.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, like the worst perception roll is like half good paths, and then like they ended in bad paths. Like they just ended in dead ends, so you had to basically fight your way all the way to the end.
You could have triggered a lot more than you did. I'll just put it that way.
I'm always going to wonder about that cloth now. That's a very specific
on the way
cloth
back.
we saw.
It was a trap.
Yeah, it was.
know.
It was.
No.
Go
It's
ahead,
fine.
Green.
We'll grab it on the way back.
Go ahead, Green.
Green would like to turn to Waves Crashing on Rocks, who I think is the like writer, drawer, copier of things person.
Yes, that's me.
Waves. Perhaps we should draw a map of the path that we took in case we need to follow it back in a hurry.
Waves looks back to the dunes, looks at you, and looks really, really helpless. And makes motions like she can't do that.
Okay. Are our footsteps quite obvious of the path that we took?
So far, but because of the wind, you don't know how long they're going to last here.
I'm just thinking, like, if we need to like leg it out of here, we don't want to like hang around like making careful little. But we should have left a trail of breadcrumbs. We didn't think of it. It's all good.
I didn't even bring several hundred feet of rope, so that plan was out when I thought of it
Yeah.
too. I was like, leave a trail.
Waves searches through her backpack and offers you her writing equipment, but still looks back at the path, looks at the empty paper, and just cannot do it.
I can't. It's okay. He doesn't want to touch your dirty paper.
Whoa! Okay. I offer it to Mothwell and Silvo.
Hey, I was just following you guys. I have no idea. I mean, I could try and remember, but I'm probably gonna get it wrong. I turned left a few times.
Waves again, stares at the empty paper, and just puts it away again.
No. Let's hope there's another way off the island, eh? Or at the very least, we run so fast that any skeletons that do appear are just hundreds of feet behind us.
And I will say that as you set off from the dunes up towards the Abbey, probably up to, I don't know, each one of these is about 500 feet. So I'm assuming you can tell me because there's grassland. You can see some of the scrub brush here. This here is the Abbey. And if you were to get to, again, it's wherever you want to go, but like this square or this square, like assuming you're going someplace where you have a clear vision of the Abbey, it's up to you as to where that is. You can see that at the front of the Abbey, the building looks largely destroyed, or at least not fully destroyed, but very much broken down. The walls looked burned down, at least half up, like there's not even really a roof on most of the Abbey. There's a lot of rubble that you can see from this distance looking at it. And as you look at the front of the Abbey, actually, I'd like everyone to make a perception check for me, please, as you look at the front of the Abbey from whatever that is, 3,000 feet or a good ways away.
Well, it's clearly made by humans because it's crumbled to complete rubbish. You can't get good workmanship on an island like that. Would you just look at the state of it?
I was going to say sand blows in your eyes is the other option, but that's probably better. Okay, Silva with a 19, waves to Silvo, I think you and Green are the only two probably who would notice this, because as you were looking at the front, assuming the two of you are standing next to each other, you maybe see something and can look at each other to confirm, because in the front of the Abbey are two figures, and they seem to be moving. Apparently, the Abbey is not deserted. And that's where we're going to bring our session to a close for today. As you have made it through the Skull Dunes, man, I thought you have no idea. If you have to run back that way and deal with the Skull Dunes in the other direction, man, there's a lot of skeletons in the Skull Dunes. I'll just say that.
We could have not known we were going to get skeletons as well.
Yep. You all did very well to manage through that the best way that you did, and it's going to lead to a very exciting moment, I think, next week when you see what happens when you get to the apparently inhabited Abbey. It'll be interesting.
Hey, but what's
to
the
see
point? It's all
out.
falling down. There's nothing to look at over there. What's the point?
You just leave and go back over the Skull Dunes.
Boring human ruins.
Yeah,
Nothing important. I don't think this is the right island.
I am excited to see how things happen, but it's very clear. You've already confirmed for yourself that there are indeed be undead in this place. You've seen that for yourself, and we'll see how much more there is leading as well. There is going to be a session, Echo. We're going to have a rare back-to-back session, and next week, knock on wood, will hopefully include Inanda as well. So hopefully we will be back to the full crew. It'll be funny to sort of explain to Inanda. So behind you there's dunes full of skeletons, and in front of you there's a ruined abbey, and Silvo may be connected to a big bad demon creature.
Yeah,
but
these
it's
notes
fine.
are going to be wild.
It's all going to be good. But good stuff from everybody. Green, good work on that heal, by the way. I was loving, by the way, the image of you desperately trying it, because your characters have not been. We, however, have all been a pub or a bar at some point in our lives, and we know exactly what those tables look like, and they're not. I'm here to tell you, cleanliness is not the value that they have. So the idea of I was cracking up thinking about you planing the wood to actually clean it off is very funny. And then again, like I said, some solid heals there too. It's going to be very interesting to see, Green, what you're associated with when you get to what may be an abbey that has some creatures of unlife within it, possibly. It'll be interesting to see how Green reacts to that. How did you feel about today? Where will the lovely folks find you next?
Yeah, I found this quite fun today. I think it was always going to be, with Green coming from a pacifist religion, it's always like a tricky one to play because obviously I don't want to be a knob to my teammates. But I feel like I was able to be useful today with the bless that allowed Brian to get the hits in, and the cure. You don't need healing potions anymore, guys. You got a walking healing potion. It's all okay now. Green is here for you.
Exactly. Just going to up the difficulty level on my end to
we've
confirm.
We've just been through a lot. Okay, we've just been through a lot.
And where you'll find me next is right here with the same crew next week.
It's going to be good times. Thank you, Bruce. Very excited for that. Again, we will hopefully have Ananda back with us. Not guaranteed, but we hope that we'll have Ananda back with us next week, very soon, regardless. And Ananda plays Brian the Bloodthirsty and is an awesome person. And you should follow Ananda with streaming and everything else when Ananda comes back more regularly on that. And hopefully we'll have news. There will be news on that hopefully soon. But again, hopefully you will see her next week with us. Moving right along, Mike, good stuff today with Silvo. I was cracking up at one point about the distances, about all of you trying to figure out how to go through the various distances and the way that was all going to work. And I was also amused at the image of basically inhaling the steam from the glass because you're like, what's your thinnest thing from your boy Carbon Copper Pants? I was having a lot of fun seeing how different people get their alcohol, basically. And then obviously you had a pretty clutch finish off a skeleton crossbow shot even. So all some good stuff there, even at a long range disadvantage. So how did you feel about today's session? Where will the lovely folks find you next week?
I always love these sessions. These sessions are absolutely fantastic. I may or may not be at next week's session.
Right.
I'm going to let people know. At the moment, I'm not going to be there, but I may be there. I'm not 100% certain. But Silvo is hale, hardy, and now has a kind of semi-grasp on some of his magic. So I have a bit of a... I'm going to write it into my character sheet, so whoever does control Silvo will be like, he's going to cast a spell, and it's going to be this, and this is the way he does it, all this sort of thing. So that's going to be quite easy for people to sort of get to grips with. But yeah, if you want to see more of my silly voice and face, then you can check out my channel over on twitch.tv/wholesome horror gaming, where this Thursday I shall be playing some indie horror titles, and I've not dived into the world of indie horror titles for a long time, so I'm very excited for it.
Good stuff. Thank you, Mike. Always a pleasure. Saber, great stuff today as well with Morthwheel. I was really amused at the premise of you just like, I'm there, I've arrived, like with the cannon, like, getting ready to get there from a distance. That was funny. Because I too had that reaction. Most of the time you're used to looking at tactical maps and it's like 5 feet squares or 10-foot squares. I was like, how about 500-foot squares? Because, it's an island. And that was very amusing to me to sort of watch that. But as it turned out, you did get a shot in. And obviously you also had some things to do as far as the you said, listen, when I asked about the viscosity and your response was yes. And I'm like, all right, well then here you go. It's time for
mead came in viscosities.
Changed motor oil viscosity. I got you. The sludge mead that we've got. You've heard of a black and tan. Now there's a sludge and tan. But I thought that was very funny. But it sort of sets us up nicely for what's going to happen once you get into this potentially doomed place. And I think you mentioned, right? Echo said this too, that it was reminding you a little bit of a Space Hulk, where you're walking through these areas, and if you hit the wrong thing,
you were pinging parts of the map, so we're getting like boom.
Yes.
We're going down this linear corridor trying to protect each other.
Exactly. It was very much, exactly. But it was fun to watch that play out. How'd you feel about today? Where will the fine folks find you next, Saber?
It was a lot of fun, and I've got some ideas for the next couple of sessions, which Morthwheel may get to do. He may not. Like he might have just been levitating off, going, "I don't see what the problem is." He was so tempted to just do that for the image, but yeah, it's also like then I fall out of the sky onto skeleton pile or something. Knowing my luck.
There was a section, by the way, that one of the random encounters, which you folks did not get into. I normally wouldn't tell you this, but I thought this was so devious. That involves a manticore that has flown around the cliffs enough that what it does is it likes to play with people who come to the beach by landing on a dune, triggering the skeletons, then flying off before the skeletons get them. So I was like, oh man, can you imagine just like boop, 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 and like all of a sudden there's like 100 skeletons all crap. Oh man, it was cracking me up. I was like, I really was like, oh man, but you never got to that portion of it. So I was like, all right, never mind.
That whole section was one of the tensest.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, as you're drawing the path, and Waves is like, yeah, very much so.
But yeah, so definitely have some more ideas for Morthwheel, which you may see come to fruition possibly next week. We will see. As for me, I'll be here tomorrow. Haven't 100% picked a game, so it might just be Caves of Cood if I don't decide on anything else more, because that's fun. And I need to get back to my man opening beetle pet.
Yes, I'm looking forward to trying Caves of Cood and seeing. Yes, the Asticore, exactly. Imaginary Explorer, exactly. It was really cracking me up. Anyway, good stuff today, Saber. Thanks again for Moobot and Dashboard, etc. And last but certainly not least, Pyron. Good stuff with Waves. Waves obviously was the tip of the spear, literally in this case. Not only leading the way, but also then having to deal with 4 skeletons at once. That all sort of challenged Waves. But as I mentioned, you're all of tough stuff. There's no problem. Clearly, you're not having any issues with the difficulty level here. I don't have to worry about that as I tune up the challenge rating on things. Everything will be just fine. It was no problem. But no, it was fun to watch that play out, and I am very curious to see how Waves is going to interact with this group. It was funny too about the like, isn't Waves the one who handles notes things? I think Green was saying, and being like, well, yes, in a way, sort of, but the image of Waves as cartographer is something I hadn't thought about before. But how did you feel about today's session, Pyron, and where will the lovely folk find you next?
As always, I love today's session, and I think everybody's going to see me next week then with this wonderful crew in some kind of composition. And yeah, it doesn't really come up like where Waves limitations lie, but this kind of was like, draw a new map, and Waves was just like, how? How could I don't? No.
Exactly.
And I didn't really have a good button for that, although I'm up to 87 different sounds. We haven't heard all of them yet.
Good grief. Yeah, that's true. We haven't heard all of them. No, you're really a Xerox machine, Waves. Is like, that's, you're perfect for that.
So that did work out. So, but yeah, so, and also, yeah, another vote for Caves of Kut from me. I've been playing it for years, and it's just, it's a very enjoyable game. But I would advise to switch on some kind of saving and not play it on permadeath mode.
I would be playing on wander mode, I think. I'd just be like, happy to save anywhere. I don't need to be elite gamer. I'm
in the debugging menu, you can also switch on save everywhere. So
that's
you can
cool.
use that, and you can just go into the debugging menu, switch on save everywhere, and then just play it on whatever mode you like.
Oh, okay. That's good to know.
So
okay.
There's that. And the pet DLC also allows you to, for example, have a rocking chair as a pet, which I've been amused endlessly, as Saber knows, because you can, or the chair can take weapons, and then it's an armed chair.
Well done.
Thank you.
That's well done.
That's why I'm leaving.
Outstanding. Oh man,
and that's our show, folks.
That's good stuff. I am all 100% in approval.
By the dice roll, everyone.
Great work today from By the Dice Roll. And don't forget to check us out if you like puns like that. Don't forget to, if you want to see the real seat of power, check out By the Dice Roll at bythediceroll.com, and by our various social mediums as well. And you will see more of us down the line. But I'm looking forward to seeing this crew, hopefully all of them, but at least most of them, next week. And so in that spirit, chat, can we get some love for the awesome By the Dice Roll crew today of Pyron J, Darksaber 2K, Wholesome Horror Gaming, and the amazing, awesome, undeveloped Bruce. Thank you, everybody. And Ananda, who will be with us soon. Thank you, everybody, and bye for now, crew. All righty. Good stuff. That was a lot of fun. And I cannot tell you like how many things might have theoretically happened if all of a sudden they sort of zigged when they should have zagged. You know what I mean? Like as far as these things were concerned, it would have been difficult. And you can see that my cat was really worried about it. Like you can actually see how troubled my cat was by that whole. You see the tension? Like look at the tension on this cat. This cat is a tense cat. No cat. See, this is it's a tense cat right here. Yeah. The amount of stress in the cat is just unbelievable. Obviously. the sheer blood curdling fear that it obviously feels. Yes, exactly. It's just like this, right? But that was awesome. Very excited for next week. I love being able to do some of these back-to-backs where everyone remembers what we did and we don't have to have a whole big recap thing because of when it happens. But also, there's some good stuff happening with this Abbey. And I want to remind everybody, by the way, that we're not at the end game yet, but we are closing in at least a little bit closer on what might be heading up towards gathering the information that is going to lead to the final fight or whatever, figuring out about the invasion against the Sahuagin and all that stuff. So again, I don't want to overstate that. That doesn't mean it's happening next time or next month or, whatever. But I would say it's quite possible that we might wrap this particular campaign next year. And so we're moving in that direction. And so, yeah, it's going to be good times. Phantom, that might be the first time you see a cat tree on GOG. I said, no. Nope. I got two of my own now. They really are amazing cats. As I've said many times, I really am a dog lover first and foremost, and I grew up with dogs. But man, these are really just great cats. Like, they're really, really awesome cats. Very dog-like. The other one, Sherbert, literally comes running to say hi to us when we come in. Both of them like being picked up. This one, and the thing about this one is, Ganesh, this one here, is a little more reserved, like not quite as, super friendly to everybody immediately. Not still friendly, but not the same way. But Ganesh will come up here and loves being up with me or with my daughter, and will just come here and be like this. Like, Ganesh has been literally here for like 3 hours just chilling out, which is very cool. And very sort of like comforting in a way, just to look back and be like, and there's the cat. So it was very cool. Anyway, I've got to rise up on out of here. Kilgore Trout is going to be joining you later on today. Kilgore, what do you have on the docket for tonight? Is it, do you have more Mafia 2, that you got coming up? If I'm not mistaken, although I might be. Is that the case? All cats are their own. It's true. But they, but just very cool. Very, very connected to us, which is really cool. Legacy of Kain tonight. Oh, alrighty then. So you got some Legacy of Kain action coming on tonight. That's going to be good times. I'm excited for it. But I am going to rise up on out of here now. I will be back on my own channel on Thursday night playing more of Dark Sun Shattered Lands. I should mention, by the way, that I'm closing in on the end game of that. And so that is a GOG game, and I'm very grateful for that. So you should definitely check that out. After Dark Sun Shattered Lands, I'm probably going to move into Dark Sun Wake of the Ravager. And then I'm going to move into Beyond Shadowgate, which I'm excited for. And then, after all those things, we'll cut back into some more classic retro gold box stuff. Curse of the Azure Bonds, probably. The Dragonlance series. Down the line, I want to try a game called Cryptmaster, which I think is available on GOG.com, and some other ones down the line. But, I've really been having a good time with Dark Sun. It's going to be great. Soul Reaver, remastered. Oh, nice. Yeah, I'll definitely have to stop by and check that out. So I'll be back on my own channel on Thursday. This Saturday, if you liked tabletop play, may I ask you all to stop by my long-running Infinity and Beyond campaign, Eberron Oracle of War. They are now level 14, and they are in part 14 of a 19-part, basically, campaign. And they are in season 5 of that campaign called From Dust. So you should join them if you want to see that. That's going to be Saturday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. And then I will be right back here a week from today on GOG.com. And I should mention next Tuesday, we have, first of all, the Gamebook illustration stream I do on my channel, Fighting Fantasy Gamebooks with my good friend Tari Tunes. Then I will be back here again with more By the Dice Roll. And then on my channel next Tuesday night, not tonight, but next Tuesday night, the Christmas Carol performance. So we're doing a Christmas Carol with my voice team, the Art Vocalists. We are going to have a minimum of 6 people besides myself there as voice actors, 4 regulars that are part of the current Art Vocalists and 2 alums. And 2 alumni, and then we might even get a couple of others to add to that mix. So a minimum of 6 and a maximum of 8. It's going to be a good-sized cast, and I'm excited for it. But that's going to be happening next Tuesday night. But otherwise, I'm going to head on out of here. If you liked what you saw and heard today, I hope you will follow the channel. I hope you will check out as well and consider subscribing to us here on GOG.com's Twitch channel. And I hope you will consider clicking through and checking out our own channels, because we have our own subsystems and Patreons and stuff like that. And in particular, let me ask all of you to stop by and support us on Twitter and Blue Sky by checking out Buy the Dice Roll. If you go to buythediceroll.com, that will give you a link to those things, and you can follow us on the social media sites. There's going to be a lot more coming through that social media stuff soon. We've got some social media plans coming up in the new year, so please join us for all of that. But that's going to do it for me. Thanks, everyone, for being here, and special thanks today to the amazing crew from the the aforementioned By the Dice Roll. Thanks to Pyron, thanks to Darksaber2K, thanks to Peripheral Mike, and thanks to Undeveloped Bruce tonight. That's it. I'll see you folks for more of this next week on this channel or on my own channel Thursday night. Until then, make sure that you stop by in a few hours for Kilgore Trout, and much love all. I'll see you folks soon, and don't walk over any mysterious sand dunes in the next week. You never known if someone might have a bone to pick with you. Bye, chat. I'll see you folks soon. Bye for now.